Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Danny and Dusty with you. How you doing, feller?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
The monkey is monkeying just a little bit more each day.
There we go. Jeff Rust is here. Jeff Rust.
Holla at your boy.
There we go. Holla at your boy.
Wah, 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 wah.
You good? You good over there?
Yeah.
Your
My
mus-
mouth's a little on fire. I got some sweet Southern Heat barbecue chips, and they are picante.
Oh, they are. The sweet Southern Heat is no joke.
Yeah.
Huh? What brand is that?
It's just Lay's.
Just Lay's.
But yeah, but it's
Wow, that's the most Oregon palate thing I've ever heard.
no, but it's a spicy little chip. It's a spicy. I mean, I like spicy food. I'm not a spice wuss.
I was hoping like it would maybe even like not even that all that exotic, like Tim's Cascade.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Salt and vinegar really got me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the sweet dill pickle.
But Southern barbecue,
Yeah, it's like sweet Southern Heat barbecue.
and that the Lay's are getting you.
Yeah,
I need this.
I don't like the
I need
texture of the Frito-Lay.
really.
No.
the fluffiness to it.
No, it's like, it's
Like,
like
a thin, fluffy. Like it just like you put it on your tongue and it almost like breaks like a wafer.
yeah,
I like a
Not-
thick, sturdy chip.
yeah. Give me something I have to work through.
Yeah.
You know, give
No.
me some crunch.
Well, why
The-
does that have to be mutually exclusive to like a kettle chip? Why can't one enjoy both?
Oh, you can. I just don't.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I'm
When
saying.
you get the- when you get the kettle
different
chip-
strokes for different folks.
The kettle chip.
I'm
with
not
the
attacking
ridges.
you, Jeff.
It
I
sure
am.
feels like it.
I am.
Yeah, Danny is definitely attacking you.
Yeah, no. Kettle chip with the ridges is the exclusive potato chip.
Oh,
That is the chip of chips.
No, the goat is just the Lay's sour cream and onion.
Oh, see, salt and vinegar.
yeah. I like the Tim's Cascade sea salt and vinegar. Now we're talking.
Yep, those
Now
are-
we're talking. Sea salt and vinegar is a very good flavor. You can't eat too much.
No.
because then it's like Captain Crunch. Your mouth just gets absolutely
Tore up.
shredded.
Yep.
And the sea salt and vinegar burns like it stinks. It'll get a good sting there.
I like it.
But it's I like the crunchiness and good flavoring there.
I'm gonna go with the line of the typical high school decommit. Respect my decision.
I will please respect my decision. And then just as every high school commit does, there's a raving lunatic
Yeah.
who will be in your comments. And
We got one right
we
here. in
got one
studio.
right here.
Hey.
And he is in your comments right now. And that's radioing. Thank you to everybody watching on youtube.com/1080am the fan. Twitch.com/1080am the fan, listening on the radio and on the internet, Odyssey app, everywhere. We're everywhere.
And on the desktop player.
And on the desktop player. Jeff Rust's mustache is coming in very nicely.
Quite nice.
I gotta shave the rest of it again
Yeah, you do.
because I get lazy. I don't like shaving.
But you came in Monday and it was freshly shaven.
Is that this week? No, that was
Like your 5 o'clock shadow. You literally
this
do have
is-
a 5 o'clock shadow.
well because today's only Tuesday. No, it was last week.
It was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
Okay.
Because this is a few days of growth.
All right. All right.
I mean, you were.
Yeah, I got a little. I'm letting it go.
Yeah.
I'm letting myself go here.
Wife's not killing you yet, huh?
No. Kids are mocking me shamelessly, but
I
gonna see.
feel like you're connecting now, though.
It's getting there.
You're like in the
Yeah,
past.
that's the
you,
goal.
You fought against it because you're like, it's never going to connect. But like,
Oh, it's not going to.
I think it's going to.
Just gonna let it go.
I have faith.
We're just gonna let it go.
Yeah.
IT Joey has been giving me the vote of confidence. You got
Yeah.
this, bud. So
That's a thick beard.
I don't. Yeah, he has a great beard.
that's
He has a
it.
great beard.
Yeah.
But Jeff Rust, his mustache will be cut. He will have. But remember, our bull pick'ems was the loser has to grow a mustache.
How
for a
close
month.
was that? Because I wasn't here for
It
that.
was not close.
Not very.
okay.
No.
No.
It was not
It was
close.
not close.
Yeah.
But Rust has to have a mustache for a month, and then on the final day,
Which is now Valentine's Day.
I get to shave his mustache into a whatever I deem necessary, and it will be on Valentine's Day. So
Yeah.
he will go home to his beautiful bride on Valentine's Day with a mustache of my choosing.
Yeah,
Damn it.
It's going to be a strong Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. There's great possibility of that. But I love that you're giving me a good runway here.
Yeah.
You have good handlebars going on right now.
You have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to keep growing out the rest of it for a little bit longer, and you want to go something else and give me more room to work with, artistic creativity
Gotcha.
could come into play here.
Have
Yeah,
you
I'll
thought about the reverse Hitler?
Just shave the middle
Yeah.
and just let him go on the outside. Maybe. No, I haven't really thought of that.
We-
That might not be as terrible with the old, the biker handlebars here.
Oh no, we'll take those away. You're just gonna get like an inch-long caterpillar on each side.
Styled.
God, I hate you guys.
Just keep it growing long. I want it long so I can style it.
Ooh, but what if you do the reverse?
Yeah.
But also with the turn.
Yeah,
up?
that's the only way I would do
Oh,
it.
the
Like
bird-
Screw you guys.
you
I'm
would,
going home.
some bird-
and I
get some
bring
Burt's Bees in there.
I bring like a bowler hat for you. You could wear
Yeah.
like a bowler hat. You'd look like a villain, man.
Go full haberdashery.
Yeah, like just
Dick
get him.
Dastardly over here.
Yeah, exactly, and just make you look as evil as possible, and then just send you home for Valentine's Day, and just be like, all right, Mandy, here you go. Good luck with this guy. Good luck with this guy.
Oh, trust me, it'll make it about 5 minutes once I get home. Should be like, that bet is paid, right? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, and we're done. All right, we got a show today.
Yeah, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff that we got to get to.
Yeah, no, even on a Monday night post championship game, sports pretty hard pretty hard last night.
Sports were sporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. We got the Vancouver Ford text line. We got chips coming in. Tim's jalapeno. Yeah, but you got to eat those. Like, you can't stop eating those.
Yeah, no, like that's the
You
thing. You just keep going.
You just got to you just pound through the whole bag. My buddy used to buy sea salt and vinegar chips in college, even though he didn't like them, just so others wouldn't eat his chips.
Smart move.
Now if that
I
ain't
respect that kind of
the
pettiness.
yeah, that's the college roommates. Like, I'm getting something that I don't really like all that much, but I know you don't. So I know you're not going to like
And
these.
Look,
You're not going to eat it.
You know what ends up happening is that ends up becoming the chip that you like.
Yeah, you build a palate for it.
Yeah, because I was not a salt and vinegar guy, and I kind of went down
So-
that route. It was just like,
Yeah.
I think I was the guy that they were trying to keep it from. Like, he doesn't really like those, and I was like, want to bet?
I was never a salt and vinegar guy, but they have grown on me a touch over the last few years.
Drastically on me.
This is see, and sea salt and vinegar. I always had, a hankering for them because my dad used to eat them a lot. Like, my dad's palate was super weird. Like sea salt vinegar chips, Good and Plenty's
Okay.
candy,
Yeah.
Jujubes
Okay.
candy, Boston baked beans candy. He loved all like those
You-
four,
you-
and
you
I
had
just
me
look back
until
on it
then.
now, and I'm like, that's a weird.
Well, that's a lot of salty.
Well, I can get behind the Jujubes.
Yeah. But you know what the hack is, which I will forever be indebted to him for? Vanilla ice cream, Fritos.
Oh, salty and sweet.
Oh, salty
Yeah.
and sweet. Oh, it is so good.
Yeah.
It is so. Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
Dude, don't give me Frito-Lay guy over there. Don't you?
If you want to go
Fritos?
salty sweet, you dip your French fries in your chocolate shake or your Frosty.
I mean,
It's almost the same thing, except for you get a little crunch. It's good. It is really good. Every single person that has given me that response, Rust, I've given them the Fritos and vanilla ice cream, and they love it. I'm gonna have to bring some in. We're gonna have to do a taste test here. We'll do a show taste test, and you guys can tell me. We'll do it. Frito-Lay's and vanilla ice cream is not that bad. It's actually delicious. I want it right now. It's so damn good.
can I just say, like, I like me some ice cream.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the few things that I just can't eat until like at least 3:34 in the afternoon.
Fritos?
No,
Or ice cream.
Ice cream. Like, I can eat damn
Really?
near anything, anytime, anywhere. You want leftover pizza at 3 a.m, Chinese,
Yeah.
steak, whatever. Doesn't matter. But ice cream, the thought of that makes my brain hurt.
I'll mess with some ice cream early.
It's never been my thing.
Really?
But I'm also not like a big sweets guy. So if I'm going to have like a late night craving or an early morning craving or whatever the hell you want to call it,
Right.
I'm just not going to go down that road. That
All right.
rocky road.
Yeah. I see what you did there. I see. Yeah, you're a punny guy.
Yeah.
Rust is mad.
Yeah.
He's like, that's my lane. Don't you dare. That's my lane over there.
Well,
All right.
I was just over here wondering what kind of psychopath can't eat ice cream at any time of the day.
I just started.
Well,
It's something I just realized.
serial killer tendencies
well,
over
you
here.
know.
Be careful what you say. Dave.
Well, I just don't have. I'm basically, it's what it's telling you is I'm incapable of having joy in the morning.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there is a person that I
But
know,
red meat in the morning, I'm not gonna have that.
really, you'll go steak in the morning, but
Oh,
you won't go ice cream.
Oh yeah.
See,
so weird.
I'm not like a
You
steak
are
and eggs
weird.
guy, but I will do a chicken fried steak and eggs.
Oh, I've had hundreds of times I've done steak and eggs. Literally hundreds.
Really?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite breakfasts.
Huh. I don't think I've ever had steak and eggs in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. Never. Chicken fried steak, yeah, but
steak.
no.
What ends up usually happening is I'll like do, particularly with my wife and I, because meat's
My wife.
so stupidly expensive. I buy the family packs, and she just doesn't eat that much red meat. But if I'm going to cook steaks, I'll cook a couple of them at a time. My mouth
I thought
works.
we
I
almost
swear.
had to use the dump button
Yeah,
there
it got
for a
really
second.
close.
Wow.
But I'll take leftovers. Like I'll take a leftover New York steak.
Really?
What about Virginia? That's basically what I just did. Just
Dang,
my
man.
mouth did not work. A little leftover New York steak, a little eggs over easy. Yeah,
I know.
little hash.
Never thought.
Oh, man.
Never thought of. It just is never on my go-tos, my plays. Because breakfast, like everybody's got their breakfast. Like everybody has, and that is yours. Like that's one of your breakfast go-tos, right? If you have some, you'll go ahead and you do it. Yeah. I will never go down that path. Like it is. I have so many issues when I go to like a breakfast restaurant. I'm like, oh God, do I
Making a
want the
decision?
pancakes? Do I want the waffles?
Yeah,
do
see,
I
it
want...
depends on if I want sweet or if
See,
I just want
I
to go
never
like
want the
food
sweet.
coma.
Yeah, or you go like
Because that's when you
biscuits,
go to
gravy,
biscuits
you
and
go
gravy or the
heavy.
chicken fried steak
Yeah.
and eggs. Yeah.
Yeah, look,
And go home and
CFS,
have a nap.
CFS, eggs Benedict,
Good
steak
big-
and eggs.
good
Those
big
are like my
omelet.
3 go-tos.
Yeah. You just went SFS, chicken CFS, chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
You just shorthanded it.
That's a
CFS.
professional.
Yeah, that is a pro. That's a pro move.
Did you guys not call it that when you were growing up?
No.
No.
You're
Can't say
you're a
that.
beers and lunch guy.
Oh, the chicken fried steak, that was always like my favorite
Yeah,
hot
but
lunch.
but when they had remember
Either
the
the
paper
chicken fried steak or
we had the paper
or the
menus
wiener wrap.
on the calendar. Remember
That's
that
what
we knew what was going to have for lunch.
You guys had chicken fried steak?
every
Oh,
week.
yeah.
It was
Really?
Fridays.
Yeah, they did a lot of time on Fridays.
Fridays.
Damn.
But we had the lunch menus back in the day. You get your calendar, and it would tell you what meal was each day, and it was shortened to CFS. So we all knew what. Hey, it was CFS day.
CFS.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Did you have? Did they? Maybe this was only in grade school. Did you have gumdrop day?
What the hell?
Oh yeah. So with your hot lunch on those days where if part of it was like the little white squishy dinner roll, you'd rip apart your dinner roll. If there was a gumdrop inside, you got to go take that back into the cafeteria and turn it in for an ice cream bar.
We had the orange creamsicle cups.
What kind of planet were you guys living on, man?
Beaverton.
Gosh, those schools, we had wiener wraps.
We had wiener wraps.
Yeah.
Wiener wrap Wednesday.
No, we had the orange vanilla cream cups with a little peel back and the wooden spoon. And oh my God, I just got that wooden spoon feeling in my mouth.
Yeah. all you have to do is hear it and you can automatically taste it.
I hate that wooden spoon.
I loved it.
God.
Loved it. Tastes like summer.
Yeah.
Tastes like summer.
Mm.
Oh, so good. All right. Well, we're hungry now.
Yeah.
We're all hungry now. All right.
I'll have to keep eating my spicy Lays.
There you go.
That's
Can I just say, speaking of food, I
Monster.
feel like it's
Just a
it's a
monster.
shot. The national ads for Chili's are running.
Yep.
We do not have any Chili's in the state of Oregon.
I know it sucks.
I actually went and looked
Yeah, it's
because
terrible.
they had some deal, and I was like, you know what? I haven't been to Chili's in a long time. Let me see where one's at.
Yeah.
You put in Oregon, not available in your state. And I'm like,
Oops.
not in the state?
Yeah.
I think the last one was one out towards our side of town where it's,
We had one in Wilsonville up until COVID.
Oh, was that it? Okay.
Yeah,
All
It's
right.
where,
right off I-5.
Yeah.
I think it's where the Golden Valley
Oh,
brewery restaurant
was
is
a
now.
Chili's?
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. We don't have Dunkin' Donuts either. Like we have like some of the big chains that you always see on TV. Nope.
Yeah. We did
Don't
have Dunkin'
exist.
Donuts. I
Super
remember that
weird.
when I was a kid.
We used to have it. Yeah.
There was the one at Malfunction Junction.
Yeah. That's still a donut shop.
Still a donut shop.
And then there was one out near like Clackamas Town Center. That was like the last one standing.
The weirdest thing for me was going past like the middle of the country and understanding that Hardee's and Carl's Jr. were the same. I was like, what the hell's a Hardee's?
Yeah.
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 Just depending on what side of the country
Carl's,
you're in.
Yeah, like you mean Carl's Jr.?
Which is a weird move to be like, yeah, you cross the Mississippi and you got a different. It's same place, but
Same-
just different
Well,
name.
they do
Same
it
but different.
With like the mayonnaise too. Best Foods versus Hellman's. Same company. Just
Is it
depends on what
really?
Part of the
Yeah.
country. Yeah.
Had no idea about
Yeah.
that.
You'll get some
It's
of your
the same freaking label, just like different names.
You'll
Yeah.
get some of your different Hostess snack cakes. It'll have one name on the West Coast and a different one on the East Coast. Like Ding Dongs versus Ring Dings, or
Really?
Oh yeah.
Things I never knew.
Yeah.
Wow.
They make it easier for those dumb East Coasters.
See, we've got Yes, because ring dings is so much easier to remember than ding dongs.
God, you're screwed.
All right, we learned stuff already. We've already learned stuff. All right, we've got the right side of an ass whooping to talk about today. That's good. That's cool.
I love those.
Boy, that was fun.
Those are fun. Literally the first one of the year.
Yeah, we got our 3 up, 3 down that we'll get to. What we learned from conference championship weekend in the NFL. We have some fun with audio that we got to play with today. Always a good time. Leftovers from conference championship week. And who is the most hated man in sports? The most hated man in sports, 503-864-6326. I would like that question to be put out there to everybody. Yeah.
Should I just not to just do a poll? Just put a solicitation from the account out there?
Yeah, and maybe, yes.
Yeah,
yes. It won't be the first time you've been popped for a solicitation, but
Hey-o,
we'll get
never caught.
We'll get there. There you go. Jeff Rust is done. And because I have a character that I believe could be the most hated man in sports right now. And not criminal too. Can we take criminal things out of it? Like, cause OJ, right? Like OJ, bad guy. Okay, Miles Bridges, bad guy. Yeah. You know, criminal out. But you just don't like him. You just don't like him. He's not a good guy.
But yeah, if it's a felony, leave it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna specify non-criminal.
Non-criminal. There we go. When you solicit, make sure it's non-criminal. All right. But where we start,
Las Vegas.
Apparently the grass is pretty damn green in Detroit too. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. I want it long. Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. Still have not seen the man who I'm thinking of pop up for the most hated man in sports. We'll get to that coming up at 1:30 today. Worst day on the web. 1:30 today. 1:30, we'll get to that. Where we got to start, though, grass isn't greener on the other side, according to Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions.
Still
is going to stay just that. He has turned down both Seattle and Washington, the Commanders, and he has said, nay, I will stay in Detroit. And this is a surprise because 37-year-old offensive play caller obviously maximized what the Detroit Lions did this year.
Had all the juice behind him. Had
Absolutely.
The wonder kid kind of tag. Going to be a great head coach. It's very Sean McVayian, Kingsbury. That kind of feel to him.
There was always this kind of question in the rumblings around Ben Johnson of, is he the leader of men that it takes to be a head coach in the NFL?
Which is kind of the difference between McVay and Kingsbury.
He's a young guy, and we say young guy. He's 37 years old.
I mean, as far as head coaches go, dumb young.
He would have been, I think, the third youngest coach in the NFL had he taken that position. But if you look at what Ben Johnson's doing, I actually appreciate we have a young guy who's like, look, I got a good thing here in Detroit. I've got 2 tackles that I have 0 questions about. I've got a quarterback who understands my system, what I need to do. I have got a tight end of the future in Sam Laporta on a rookie deal. I've got a gadget and Jahmyr Gibbs, who is on a rookie deal. I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, rookie deal still.
Offensive line that's...
You are sitting there in your center, and Frank Ragnow is just a damn warrior. Like, you sit there and you look at all the pieces that he's got, and he's like, hey, we can make another run next year. We're not up against it with the cap. I got a head coach who handles all the mess, and I just sit here, and all I have to do...
I get to dial it up.
...is focus on football. And I think when you look at the grass isn't always greener on the other side, I think there's one person that we can look at and we could say, this is it. That... sometimes being a coordinator, you can get paid a buttload of money.
It's the better job.
And be the best at your craft. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Who went and was the head coach of the New York Giants, and it was a disaster. It did not work out for him. Now he goes back and he's a coordinator, and he is lauded up. He is praised at every turn for being one of the best defensive minds in football. And there is nothing wrong. Are there going to be head coaching opportunities that disappear for Ben Johnson? Maybe. Maybe. But you know what?
It's interesting, some of the stuff that is leaking out about this that we don't typically see leaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why, is because those teams are pissed off.
Like Adam Schefter even said, he had a tweet that said, the asking price was too high for Ben Johnson. Like
basically a know your place.
But think about everything that we laid out. Think about what we just laid out.
You're trying to get him.
He's sitting there and he's going, well, all right, if I go to Washington, which the Commanders were believed to be the front runner to land his services.
So I don't have a quarterback. I've got a wide receiver. I've got some decent guys in the backfield to work with. My offensive line is in shambles. I don't have a ton of draft capital to work with. So why wouldn't you be like, yeah, I want all of the money and I want it guaranteed because this is going to suck.
And oh, by the way, I got to build out a staff and, take the Cowboys for what they are, but they're a really good regular season team.
Sure.
We know that.
Yeah.
We know they're a very good regular season team. The Eagles took a big step back this year, but they are still a talented roster.
Loaded.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense for me, for Ben Johnson, but like I heard Colin McIntyre going back and forth. And McIntyre, Colin was like, it's the loyalty. And McIntyre was like, there is no loyalty. You jump at what's available for you. Why?
No. And I think we talked about this a couple months ago, like when the first head coaching or firing started happening.
Yeah.
Of, are coaches going to be smarter about what jobs they take and don't take? Yes, there's only 32 of these, blah, blah, blah. But we've seen over the last couple of years, every year a coach or two that everybody's like, oh, he's gone. He's going to be a head coach. And they're just like, no. Because you look at some of these organizations and you're just like, Carolina.
Yeah.
Do I really want to go? They just announced their head coach today. They introduced him, I should say. And it's like, do you want to go work with Tepper? The guy that we just saw throw a drink on a fan and just acting like a giant man-child?
On his 5th head coach since taking over in 2022.
Yeah, it's like, is this really what you want to go deal with?
Yeah.
And I think there's like this, if you're good, you're good. And when you've got heat, sometimes you've got to strike. But also, you don't always have to strike. And you're seeing more hesitation. I don't want to say hesitation. I think you're seeing more savviness.
Yeah, more thought put into where you're going and when you're going.
Yeah.
Now, Seattle is an interesting one, though, with Ben Johnson, because
they do have some stuff there.
You do have some pieces. You have offensive line. You have weapons. The quarterback position is a question, but if you can squeeze the most out of Jared Goff, you feel that you might be able to squeeze the most out of Geno Smith. And you have a front office that is stable in John Schneider.
Really well.
Yeah, but is it also Ben Johnson going, look, I want somewhere that, I'm their guy instead of going through the rigmarole and leaving everything up in the air. You go back to Detroit where you don't have to make any of those hires to fill out a staff and keep everybody happy. I, for one, I find it refreshing.
And the Lions, it's now being reported, aren't reworking his deal. So he's just coming back.
See, that is surprising to me.
Right?
Like, maybe you throw a little bit extra money for, a little something for the effort here. But that's also the thing is that we never know how much these guys get paid.
He might be already getting paid a lot.
Because it wasn't a hot name. He was one of those names that everybody was
fast
like,
riser.
Hey, look at him last year.
Like McDaniel in Miami. Everybody kind of knew the path that was coming out of that. Whether or not Johnson ends up being a head coach, you can still make a lot of money as a really good play caller.
I think what it means for Detroit is, far more like, look, Dan Campbell doesn't have to go and find that guy this year.
Yeah, and this kind of following up on his post-game press conference of like, we don't know if we're going to get back. I think that was a light admission at the fact that he was there was a good chance at least he was going to lose one coordinator, maybe two.
And take it in these terms right here, okay? Sean McDermott doesn't get over the hump next year.
That job's going to open up and you're going to have Josh Allen.
Okay, Mike McCarthy doesn't get over the hump next year.
You're going to get a job that opens up that has Dak Prescott.
But it's Dallas, it's weapons, it's a great offensive line. You could have that job there. Nick Sirianni is on his last straw. He had to fire his coordinators. With a fun
quarterback and a great roster. What do we think about LaFleur?
Matt LaFleur's an interesting one.
Because I know he bought some good graces. But it also felt like that maybe heading towards that divorce before that. And that's an organization where they pride themselves on stability and not changing coaches. And if they go after you, they stick with you, they invest. So you've got organizations that, look, say what you want about Jerry. He's a nutcase in Dallas. He is stuck by coaches regularly long past their sell-by dates. So you can go to these organizations that are more storied, more successful, better funded, more resourceful, more reliable. Even it's insane to say that about the Cowboys, but I am because how long did we want Jason Garrett gone for?
Forever.
Okay, you go down the list of the only coach he had got rid of ahead of time that is the one he shouldn't have, and that was Jimmy.
And then there's one more job in there too that will be attractive. If Matt Eberflus falls on his face in year one with Caleb Williams.
And you have all of the draft capital and you've got all of the flexibility. Now you've got an ownership group that is insanely bad, but you can overcompensate with that by having if Caleb is the quarterback people think he is.
So there are jobs right there that are out in front of you saying, hey, if it's not this cycle.
And every one of them is better than the Commanders.
It is.
Every one of them better than the Commanders.
Yeah, maybe
even the Bears.
Maybe not Seattle, but Brady Henderson was on with Sprague earlier today, and he was talking to him about look, whoever gets hired, a coordinator that has been interviewed for that head coaching job could pop up, and now you're going, oh, okay. Who could that be? Who's already interviewed for the job that may leave their post to come back and be a coordinator in Seattle? I don't know who that could be. I think everybody's default is Dan Quinn's probably sick of the S that he gets in Detroit or Dallas all the time.
Yeah.
And so maybe he's just like, yep, deuces, and he joins the staff. But now you look at, all right, Washington and Seattle are open. You have 3 coaches that are out there. You have Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, who is a hot name.
36 years old.
Aaron Glenn apparently is going to interview with the Commanders because the Commanders went to Detroit to interview Ben Johnson.
Yeah. And they found out mid-flight that he's like, nah, I'm good.
So they're going to interview Aaron Glenn, the DC in Detroit.
They get the in-flight Wi-Fi phone calls.
Look at that. It can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen for the low price
of $9,000.
But you have, so Mike McDonald, you got Aaron Glenn, and then you have the 2 former head coaches that are still out there and lingering. Mike Vrabel is out there, and Bill Belichick is out there. And maybe does this start...
How Vrabel is still out there, I have no bleeping idea.
Does this start maybe DC going, maybe we do kick the tires on Bill Belichick? You know, if you're Seattle, I don't know why you're not chomping at the bit to hire Mike Vrabel. Unless you want an offensive coach, but all signs have not really pointed that direction because you would exclusively interview offensive minds in that case, right?
I don't like. To me, Vrabel seems like that's a match made in heaven. Like how he operates and what we know about him and how Pete operated. Like it's like maybe the organization is just. Look, when you have a player's coach, you go to the militant guy. If you have the militant guy, you go to the player's coach. Like, there's just, you like to change things up, and maybe there's just too much similarity.
Here's a good text on the Vancouver Ford text line. It could be possible that he was a bad interviewer, and Johnson was passed on head coach material too. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
wouldn't be.
Look, that was what nobody wanted to say about Eric Bieniemy because of all the success the Chiefs had on the field, but apparently his interviews were not good.
Guys just did not, as a dude, they didn't like him.
And Ben Johnson could fall into that category as well, because that is kind of like the rumblings where, is he the leader of men? And that would lead you to believe not necessarily the best interview.
Well, it was the same stuff with Josh McDaniels, and yet he kept getting jobs.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
And turning them down.
Yeah.
Or maybe he is a good interview. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe he just took jobs that nobody else wanted.
Wow.
Well,
the Patriots? God.
As an offensive coordinator.
I had to.
No, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
You didn't land it because the Raiders hired him as a head coach. The Broncos hired him as a head coach. Hell, the Indianapolis Colts hired him as a head coach, and he turned around and said, no. All right, but Ben Johnson is staying. I think it's huge for Detroit. I'm buying Detroit stock even more than I was before. Now that he's going to be returning to the Lions for one more year, and now the Motor City Kitties, it's another happy story on a bad week for the Lions. Coming up next, it was good to be on the right side of an ass whooping. The Blazers were. First is the Big Kahuna with Sports Center update.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Only 24 cents to enroll this January. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers are off today, fresh off their most lopsided win of the season over the shorthanded 76ers. They wrap up the homestand tomorrow night as they welcome the Bucks for Damian Lillard's return to the Rose City. Portland 14-33 on the season, the 5th worst record in the league. Multiple reports say Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson has told the Seahawks and Commanders he's staying in Detroit and will not be taking a head coaching position this hiring cycle. Seattle is interviewing Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald today. NFL Network reporting the Steelers hiring former Falcons head coach Arthur Smith to be their new offensive coordinator. Former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley scheduled to interview for the Rams defensive coordinator job, a position he held in 2020. And on the Diamond, MLB Network reporting the Blue Jays and DH Justin Turner have agreed to a one-year, $13 million deal. The 39-year-old hit .276 with 23 home runs and a career-high 96 RBI last year with the Red Sox after spending the previous 9 seasons with the Dodgers. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ at the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Get to Spirit Mountain Casino Sportsbook, powered by BetMGM, for all the pro football postseason action. Visit spiritmountain.com.
Go deeper on the Trailblazers. The Rose Garden Report with host Sean Highkin. Download the Rose Garden Report on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
What does he say if he isn't saying hippopotamus? Hippopotamus?
I don't know. I think I heard a horchata in there.
Yeah. Hippopotamus? No?
Yeah.
All right.
Guess it's as good as mine.
It's a mystery. We'll never know.
I'm actually pulling the lyrics up right now because I can't get it unless I hear it.
I'm going to hippopotamus.
Horchata.
It's everybody is what he says, but I don't know what he
Okay.
says ahead of that. I'm gonna.
Got a hippopotamus. Gonna give us some more horchata. No? No?
This is for Wally Easy sees Uncle Charlie.
What?
Little Boo, God's got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody.
And I'm gonna miss everybody. Yep. I'm gonna hippopotamus.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
All right. Hey, it was great to be on the right side of a butt kicking, and the Blazers were last night, 130 to 104.
Didn't look like it was gonna go that way.
Yeah, the
That
Blazers.
first quarter sucked.
Yeah, you know what they should do? They should play every team without their two best players.
I mean, you really should say they play without the three best players because Tobias Harris was there in spirit only. Actually, in body only. His spirit was not there. He's sick as a dog,
Okay.
and he had no juice last night.
Yeah, it made it for an entertaining game though.
It did, and honestly, I mean,
No Joel Embiid, no Tyrese Maxey.
no Tobias Harris's body was there.
All right, yeah.
Kelly Oubre may have passed the ball once every time he touched it.
Green light, let's go.
That man got him up last night. It was pretty impressive.
It was a Von Wafer experience.
Oh
he
yeah,
gave
no,
us.
that was a black hole. What was really nice last night was after a slow start, and it wasn't a slow start in the sense of not hitting shots; they were disjointed as hell. He probably didn't say, but I'm saying it anyways. Ant's been beat to hell. The last couple games, he took a shot to the ribs in San Antonio, and it's been really bothering him.
That would explain
Why he was
the
just twice fried
Chicago.
cheeks against Chicago. Yeah. The guy could barely stand up.
That's brutal, dude.
He was fighting it again early. He finally got loosened up at halftime. Like if you look at how he moved in the first quarter versus how he moved in the third quarter, it's a different human being.
Right.
And a big part of that, he was just sloppy and tight. And the old we'll call them not nice guys on the Philadelphia team, aka the Pat Beverleys and the Marcus Morrises of the world, could sense that Ant was a little beat up.
Okay.
And they were poking the ribs pretty handily.
Yeah, as they should.
As they should, which old crafty savvy vets will do. And it got Portland just disjointed to start. And then Ant just kind of decoyed. They ran a lot of secondary stuff with Ant at like 35 feet, and they were face guarding him, which is what every team has done the last couple weeks. And Portland played 4-on-4 underneath, and Jeremy Grant went nuts. Absolutely bonkers. Running him off down screens, running off pin downs, getting him to turn downhill, and then Brog starts cooking. And now you've got two guys working both levels, and all of a sudden, for the fourth game in a row, DeAndre Ayton lob passes.
Well, and that was the thing. That's the thing that really stuck out is not just to DeAndre Ayton, but dunks in general.
Yes.
Like you're big, you're tall, put ball through hoop with your hand. Like just going.
It's been a big emphasis. We talked about with Chauncey pregame, when the Blazers were on that road trip where they got the crap kicked out of them. I don't think we've really talked about this much because obviously I was out.
You were dead or in jail.
Yeah. On that trip, the Blazers had a come to God meeting with Chauncey in the front office about how they were feeling about certain things, and people made their piece known, and everybody came to the conclusion that the ball needed to move more. It just needed to move more, regardless of what was happening. I was talking to a couple of players that was like, yeah, it was getting tough, not touching the ball, going up and down the court 5 times and just not touching the ball. Like sometimes now your defense lags. And I think you probably could look at like a DeAndre. Like,
well, he wasn't really playing.
but no, that was a thing kind of coming out of that. It was like, it was hard to get him the ball because of the lack of spacing and just trying to figure some stuff out.
And that was for about a month the hardest part to watch about this Blazers team was the offense would just be turned to, all right, Ant, bail us out.
Because there was no trust.
Yeah. But I think what coming out of last night, though, in that vein is that when you're getting to the rim and you're able to get easier looks, all of a sudden outside shots were becoming even more open. And guys like Jabari Walker, who only took 1 3-pointer, but there wasn't a player within 8 feet of him at the time that he got the ball and just put it up and shot. Like it's rhythm and it's open and it's easier looks from the outside as opposed to, oh crap, we need to
Malk,
shoot
Ant, please
this
save me. Yeah.
Now, if Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid are out there,
Probably
that
a little
game
different.
looks a whole lot different. But
You don't look a gift horse in the mouth, because
that's right.
even though they lost to Chicago and they lost to San Antonio, if you go back, and I've asked Chauncey about this, I've asked the players about this, it's like, yeah, those losses suck.
Yeah.
But when they watched the tape afterwards, they weren't mad about the looks they got. Remember, they just shot like crap from three in both those games. Nobody. And that includes Jeremy and Malk against Chicago. They couldn't hit threes. Nobody could.
Yeah.
Ant was, playing half of himself. Jeremy's bricking. Malk's couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. And they were okay with the process. And that was the thing. And I asked Chauncey, when do you start judging the difference between process and success? Because at some point in time, it can't just be about the process. Like, when can it be about the results? And it was a gentle reminder that DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons have played 13 total games together.
Yeah, we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets big three. That's how many games they played together.
Like these guys, the four veterans, so to speak, Ant, Malk, Jeremy, DA, have not played together.
That's crazy.
It just they have not been on the floor together for any consistent time period, and now they're starting to do that. And these lobs that you're seeing to DeAndre and these secondary actions for Jeremy and some duck-ins for Jabari Walker, they are stuff the Blazers have put into what they want to do and changed, but it's become a part of more familiarity. Like the lobs to DeAndre, that's familiarity, but they're also like, okay, we have, now that we run these sets and we have a better understanding of spacing and timing and things like that. All right, on the backside of this, our counter is going to be, Ant, you're going to send a back pick after this play, and now DeAndre is going to leak out. And it's allowing for these additional opportunities that weren't there at the beginning of the season, because it's so much of it is trust, timing, and relationships.
And I think that this, like the larger picture here, and like it doesn't make this Blazers team like good. But what it does is, we talked about at length at the beginning of the season that the roster makes a little bit more sense this year. And when you have all of the pieces finally being able to play together, you're seeing that it wasn't just like, hey, the roster makes sense from the construction and what they want to do. Now you're starting to see it play in real time that, look, it did get stagnant. It was ugly, especially, on both ends of the floor.
Yes.
But
one was
especially on
the
the
other.
offensive end of the floor, it looks a lot more fluid.
Yes.
And
it's still not perfect. It's a ton of work to do.
They're not good.
It's just, it's nice to see the growth markers that you're hoping for, and a big part of that is just because they're getting healthy.
And I think that when you look at it and you say, all right, out of 47 games this year, only 13 of them,
a quarter of them,
you've had your three best players together.
It's just, you start looking at the lineup stuff and how.
What is their record when those guys do play together? I mean, that is something that, and it's not going to be perfect because, look, as I said at the very beginning of that, they're still not a great team. There's still so much work to be done. But what we saw, losing by 62, losing by 40, like that is not acceptable.
No, and it wasn't
for
just
any.
It wasn't just health. Then that's health. That's dog days. That's a team in a funk. That's a team that needs to sort through stuff mentally and kind of knowing process and roles. And Chauncey's really kind of emphasized a lot over the last week or so roles.
Faux show.
Like Tamani Kamara, like being moved back to the bench, but like him being more accepting of that and what that has done for him. Like you've seen him be significantly more aggressive on drives and much more control. Like his decision tree is no longer a breadth of options. It's like it's three things.
Well,
simplified it because they simplified his role.
They're able to use him as he should be used at this point
because
in his career.
Because he's not. He shouldn't have that much leeway because he's still too young.
They were lumping a lot of expectation on guys that just couldn't do it. They couldn't do it.
And that's the biggest thing, particularly I think about the NBA, where it was like, well, Scoot should play 35 minutes. Like, no, he shouldn't. Because he can't handle it yet. And as fun as last night was, it was against backups. But those are the growth markers you want to see.
And by the way, 22 minutes, 22 points, right?
And let me tell you, he could not have been happier. He is not looking at this like, oh, it was against this. Him knocking down those shots and feeding off those passes to his teammates and the monster dunk. those are the markers you're like, good, you are too good for this moment.
All right.
Now you start moving forward with the next
Hey,
one.
26-point wins are good. I hereby petition 2 things for the NBA.
Go on.
At least one of the 2 best players not be on the floor for the opposing team when they play the Blazers, because having the best 2 out was really
Super
helpful.
useful, turns out.
The other one is, at any time you have a blowout, you get 3 points for doing cool dunks, because Scoot and Council made that.
So much fun.
That was fun to watch at the end. They were just like, it turned into like an and one mixtape game.
I love it when the young, dumb athletic guys really start getting to show out.
It was fun.
Council, look, I know we want the bigger names in the dunk contest. If they threw Ricky Council out there for a dunk contest invite in 2 weeks, I would not be against it. That man could fly.
And that would be Ricky being Ricky right there.
Indeed.
All right. Hey, let's have some fun with audio. We have got the Super Bowl right around the corner, and the machine is already churning. Fun with audio next on The Fan. All right, the Super Bowl machine is already at churning. We've only had this matchup set for less than 48 hours, and we already have the promos coming out. We will have Tony Romo and Jim Nantz in the booth for the Super Bowl. It's a CBS game. And I'm just glad that everybody else is finally realized what I've been saying for years now about Tony Romo, in that I get it. He was predicting plays, but it wasn't really all that great.
Never touched it. That's a catch. We got to see this. Oh, that's loose. That is definitely. Oh.
A lot of mouth noises.
Yeah. When we pulled that Romo's first year in the booth, we pulled the Romo noise. I don't know, Jim.
The Romo orgasms.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Gus Johnson.
Oh! College football!
That it's a little bit different when Gus goes off in a college game. But we will have that. But CBS having the Super Bowls means they're the home of soaps. And they're pulling out all the stops. They had Nick and Phyllis from, I believe it's Days of Our Lives. Is that what this is?
Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless.
As the world turns.
Days of Our Lives is an NBC joint.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting us.
Absolutely. Right. How could I forget? This one is, what one is it again? Young and the Restless. Nick and Phyllis. And I love this because this one may hit close to home for some people. They had the Young and the Restless actors put together a little Super Bowl promo.
What do you want me to say?
Nothing. You don't have to say anything. You just go and have the best time of your life.
They said you weren't invited to their house ever again.
Why does it feel like you're taking their side?
You made a fool out of yourself last year.
What do you expect? That holding call on Bradbury was ridiculous. It cost the Birds the Super Bowl.
You didn't have to break the nacho tray over your head.
What do you want me to say? I was seeing red.
You started a fight with their father.
He started it.
He's 87.
He said the Eagles were frauds.
Ooh, drink in the face.
Enjoy the game.
I'm glad you cleared up the drink in the face.
Yeah. I mean, or somebody peed. But I think
We don't kink shame here on this show.
we all know that. Wow, we all know that guy at the Super Bowl party who's not going to be invited back next year for getting into a fight with the 87-year-old dad because he said the Birds were a fraud.
He started it.
I was seeing red.
I mean, if you're using the F word, you got to be careful.
Yeah, you can't be calling teams in the Super Bowl frauds,
Right?
You can't be doing that. Them's fighting words.
Unless you're the Broncos.
Have you ever seen anything like that where somebody goes a little too extreme?
I've seen a hole punched in a wall.
Yeah. There was a moment where when the Patriots played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, okay, we all know how that one ended.
Yes, we do.
One of my best friends, my roommate from college, God rest his soul, love you, Benny. After Malcolm Butler picked off Russell Wilson in the end zone, there was a meltdown that I can only say was akin to a child at a supermarket. It ended up with us going out. Okay, we got to go out to the shop.
Street?
We went out to the shop and we had a beer, had another beer. And then our shop lights, I had some old shop lights that I was waiting to get rid of. He ended up breaking like 6 of them over his knee.
Nice.
In the shop, I was like, damn it, Ben. And then he threw one to me and he goes, hit me with it.
And did you?
I did. Of course I did. Of course I did.
You had to oblige.
Yeah, of course I hit him with it. And I spent the next day sweeping up my shop from all of that fiberglass the glass that was everywhere.
Nice.
And that was the one where it was like, maybe we don't watch the Super Bowl with Ben next year. And so we did the very next year, just not at our house.
Yeah, no. I have never wanted to host like game parties for that particular reason.
Ooh, yeah.
But I think it's one thing for like the Super Bowl in general, because there's just, especially if you know somebody's coming over who's that guy.
Big fan.
Like big fan of the team. Not going to have meltdown guy, but I'm like, you're too big a fan.
Yeah.
And it's always like, I don't. When I say I saw somebody punch a wall, I don't know if I should tell this. I saw somebody punch a wall with somebody else's head.
What? So he put somebody else's head through the wall?
Through the wall.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to say that, but that's...
Yeah, it was...
You're dealing with psychos there.
Yeah, it was in the garage at my old house, and yeah, that's why we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that seems about fair. Seems about fair.
There's a head-shaped imprint in the garage for...
Just still there, huh?
Till I moved out.
All right.
Not a drywall guy.
Yeah, very few are.
No, especially, look, it's difficult to drywall. I mean, little, small holes?
Yeah.
Fine.
You can patch that up.
Head-sized hole? That's tough.
You can get through that. No worries. In a world of selfishness, we have a valuable lesson to learn here. Next on The Fan. Number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Tuesday. You can join us less than a month from today. February 27th, we have the first ever Fan Winter Golf Classic out at X Golf Tualatin and X Golf Vancouver.
Hell yeah.
You can sign up your threesomes now. You can choose from either the noon slot at X Golf Vancouver with Danny and I, 4 o'clock round at X Golf Tualatin, where Isaac and Suk will be broadcasting. Both the broadcasts of the shows will be live from those locations. The winning threesome will get a free foursome at this summer's 10th annual Fan Golf Classic. The last place threesome, you get a free X Golf lesson. Because damn it, you need it if you're taking the last in that. So,
that's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, go to 1080thefan.com for more information and sign up your threesome now. That's 1080thefan.com. It's on Tuesday, February 27th at either X Golf Vancouver or X Golf Tualatin. It's going to be a great time.
We got a lot of cool stuff coming up in February and then into March. It's March Madness stuff. I'm excited. Football's going to go away, but we're going to still have some fun. Man.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
We got a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, and now we're going to be out and about. They're going to let us out of the cage a little bit more.
And
and
I'll be mobile.
Yeah, don't say that because you know that is
you just
always
jinxed
a question.
the crap out of that.
Well, I do not have any planned surgeries.
There we go.
Yeah.
I have to be very specific.
And guy comes to the 4th day of work in a row, and he's like, "I'm not gonna be gone." Hey, I was thinking about this when thinking about the Super Bowl and with the Kansas City Chiefs. We always are saying, God, how does anybody doubt Patrick Mahomes? Right, going on the road. Patrick Mahomes never played a road playoff game. He's answered that twice. 2 of the 3 road wins in the playoffs this year have been Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, right? But when you look kind of deeper into it and you look at what happened to the Kansas City Chiefs over the course of this season, and especially in this playoff run, and hell, you can look at the AFC Championship game. They have dealt with more change than a lot of teams. And this is the hardest part about going to repeat a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl defense, is that you have to replace so many parts when you win a championship because guys leave, everybody gets paid on Super Bowl winning teams. Staffs get pillaged, right? Eric Bieniemy's gone.
That's part of the kind of planned obsolescence of the NFL is that it's designed to keep you from staying at the top.
But hasn't this Kansas City team kind of shown us what the epitome of team in team sports is throughout the course of this year?
Yes, you take and concentrate on 5 players among your 22 starters, and you make sure you have those 5 guys, and then you fit everything else around it.
And we were looking at, and what kind of started this was our conversation we had yesterday about Travis Kelce, right? 11 catches on 11 targets, breaking Jerry Rice's, postseason career receptions record.
Which is nuts.
Mahomes and Kelce have the most touchdowns of any duo in playoff history now. But when you think of what was wrong with the Kansas City offense, it was they were trying to figure out over the course of this year what was right with the Kansas City offense. The receiving core, and you're breaking in so many new pieces, and they went out and they were like, this ain't working. So they go back and they get Mecole Hardman back in the lineup. Has he played a major role? No, damn near blew the game against Buffalo, right? But they were working through all of the mess. And when they needed Travis Kelce and they needed to lean on Travis Kelce, if you just look at his targets over the course of the season and how many times Mahomes targeted him, he had 2 games all season long where he was targeted more than 10 times. 2 of the 3 playoff games, he has been targeted 10 or more times.
We saw it this season, and we heard the rumblings about would Kelce consider retiring? Is he slowing down, getting long in the tooth, getting a little beat? He's 34. And he's old, man. This was a plan like, hey, we can't target Travis 115 times this year. That's not something we can do. We need to pick and choose, and we need to find ways. And that was what I think highlighted the fear of the Chiefs this year from the outside was, okay, Kelce doesn't have it, or they're not using him as much, and the guys around him can't pick up the slack.
And you remember this, as I was saying, like I started this in November, like one, it was the conversation we had. Are we worried about the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes.
And I said, I'm not worried about Kansas City. Like their record, like they still are the Kansas City Chiefs.
They were winning. It just they were winning differently, closer, and scarier because it wasn't there's a lot of nail biters.
But in November, I was sitting there and I said, I'm not worried about them because they have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
They have Andy Reid still. But what we've seen is, I was banging that drum of they're going to be at their best when they're running the football effectively. These 3 games in the playoffs, the engine has churned because of Pacheco, right? When Pacheco is running downhill the way he is, they flipped the game on its head because all of a sudden those clock-eating drive killers that they took up against the Baltimore Ravens, they ran the football and they started it late in the year. They figured it out. Like, that's the epitome of what great teams will do. Even though you have Patrick Mahomes, you said, all right, Patrick, 17-game regular season, figure it out.
Yeah.
You were able to win your division because of the dysfunction of the Denver Broncos, LA Chargers, and the Las Vegas Raiders.
The America's team.
Right? You were able to secure a division title.
Early.
And then it was, now, all right,
let's lock it.
Where's the rubber going to be thrown? I didn't anticipate the way that they were going to be able to operate offensively as efficiently as they are in the playoffs, because
Particularly, yes. Yeah.
their road, it doesn't get much harder than Miami, Buffalo, Baltimore.
No. Who did they not go through?
Exactly.
You could say that if the Bengals were healthy and Joe Burrow, but like those were the 4 teams that you were looking for in the AFC, like that were going to challenge this year.
Well, and then the 4th team in this playoffs that made the playoffs, they're going to meet them in the Super Bowl. You know, they are going to meet the 4 teams that everybody had said outside of Kansas City, look,
those are the challengers.
These are the contenders. And they passed the 3 toughest levels, and now they have the boss level is the Super Bowl. And it is amazing to me when you look at the AFC Championship game, it's not just the offensive side. Willie Gay goes down, right? And they go to their backup, and he comes up with huge plays. Like, you cannot understate enough. Like, there is this winning is learned, right?
Well, you had many who go down with a torn ACL, and you know they're still getting contributions
That's right.
on the front 7. It's it's not always going to be. The thing about this Chiefs team that I think is different this year is that they are scrapping and clawing, and it's not pretty. It's complementary. It's both sides. It's a complete team. Without one, you don't have the other.
Right.
And is their depth great? Like, is this, Georgia from 2 years ago? No, it's not great. But the way they're structured and the way they're built allows them to have, I don't want to say shortcomings, but necessarily flaws that they can adjust for.
Right.
And, you have tolerances. They're operating within their tolerances at all times. And I think that's it. This is going to sound terrible. That is the greatest compliment you can pay to the game management of Patrick Mahomes.
Nothing wrong with being game manager.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Tolerances. As long as you're within these rails, because you have him, it doesn't matter.
They've gotten at every turn the production that they've needed. And look, that goes back to your general manager, your head coach, your defensive coordinator, and Steve Spagnuolo, who I think if you lose guys like, Amenyehu, and you lose guys like Willie Gay, a lot of teams are going, 2 key cogs in our wheel then are now gone. How are we going to do it? You got a big gift handed to you by what's his butt? Offensive coordinator for the Ravens. Oh my gosh.
Monken.
Todd Monken going
forgetting how to football.
Absolutely against everything that has made the Baltimore Ravens this unstoppable force all season long and running the football, even though they ran the football very effectively on their only touchdown drive of the game. But you look at Kansas City is the kind of the epitome of what everybody talks about as this is what team football looks like. This is what it looks like when you have a team that everybody's pulling in the same direction. And damn, with everything that has gone against them this year, drops in the receiving core, guys going down on the defensive side of the football, every single turn they answer. And look no further than you go without Joe Thuney, your all-pro left guard, and you controlled that game at the line of scrimmage by running the football.
And the interesting thing was, we talk about running the football so much, and I think the immediate thought is, he must have run for like 4 or 5 yards of carry. No, Pacheco didn't do that. In fact, they were very inefficient running the ball, but they were timely in running the football. And the big, 11-yard
Yep.
run where you get another first down. The big run that he punches in for the touchdown where he just runs heavy.
Well, and it became in the second half, how much time can
Tick, 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 tick,
can we burn off this clock? Because as you saw Baltimore reeling, you have it was just punt for the Chiefs, but in their punts they had drives of 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 17 seconds, and then the last one was 2.5 minutes where
That's what you
you
had
got exactly what you needed to do. You got through the 2-minute warning, you got through their 2 timeouts, and you controlled the clock as you needed to do it. I think that gets lost because of how great Patrick Mahomes is, how great Travis Kelce is. At crunch time, when you need them the most, you always go to your best players. But it kind of got lost in the sauce that they were working through, all right, who's going to be our 2-punch outside of Travis Kelce? And because they went down that list, is it going to be, Kadarius Toney? Is it going to be Mecole Hardman when they brought him back? Is it going to be Marquez Valdez-Scantling? No, it ended up, they went to their 4th option in Rashee Rice. And Rashee Rice, they were like, all right, we found it. We found our 2-punch in our passing game.
Must be nice to be able to have the quarterback that allows you to work your way down that, though.
Absolutely.
That's because if
that's the greatness of Patrick
Gardner
Mahomes.
Minshew, that's not allowable.
And not every quarterback is, it is Brady-esque, right? It's not, Peyton Manning, who always had, whether it was, Marvin Harrison or Reggie Wayne or,
Edge in the backfield.
Demarius Thomas. Like he always had
a dude.
Or a couple dudes, Dallas Clark, his tight end. It is more like Brady always worked through who those guys were, but you knew come playoff time, 87 was going to be the guy getting the ball, right? It was going to go to Gronk. You were going to feed Rob Gronkowski.
And 11.
Come playoff time. And Julian Edelman, right? But how many variations of small white guys did we see there? And, well, it went Troy Brown first, not a small white guy. But then you went to, Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman. Like
the same version of
working through who it's
Looper.
going to be with guys like Deion Branch sprinkled in there. Bethel Johnson was a guy who was in there for a little bit. It takes a really special quarterback to get through that, and we all would just fixate on Patrick Mahomes. Dude, that team, they are scary. I said it yesterday near the end of the show. I'm pulling for the 49ers, but you cannot, the bet that I will place as of right now, if I was to bet today, I'm betting on the Chiefs. I'm pulling for the Niners, betting on the Chiefs.
It's the best player in football. It is what it is.
You're damn right. You're damn right. I thought it's interesting because we always talk about the guy who's going to do it. And it's usually the quarterback or it's, the star receiver or tight end or running back. Nah, man, this Chiefs team is something different. They are something different. 503-864-6326. That's the Vancouver Ford text line. Hey, there's a man on fire right now. Is he the most important piece to any team? Next on The Fan. Hey, a little note here. Rising Stars game has been announced, and Blazers won't have any All-Stars this year. Surprise.
No, but they will have at least 2 guys representative of the organization. Actually, 3 technically, because Ashton Hagans from the Rip City Remix has been selected from the G League to also participate.
Oh, I'm looking at the Rising Stars. He isn't on there.
He is on as part of the G League or the G League select package, like a fans vote kind of a deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, look at that.
So he won that. So the three players technically from the Portland's organization, Ashton Hagans, Scoot Henderson for the rookies.
That's surprising.
It's not though, because even though he's been poor efficiency wise, he's the only rookie with multiple points and rebound or points and assists, double doubles. His overall scoring and his overall assists are still at the top.
And the fact that they're going to take the guys who were the top 3 picks in those.
That's a big part of it.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
And Shaden Sharp will be a part of the sophomore team.
Well,
if he's alive.
That's the thing is, expectations were that we would have some news about where he is with his medicals right now, based on 2 weeks ago. They said they were going to have scans. Basically, we'll reevaluate in 2 weeks. That would be today.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing, and unless something has changed, I don't think they're doing them today. I think they're doing them on Thursday. I think they want to get through Wednesday.
Get through the Damian Lillard circus coming to town?
Yeah, and then they're going to go look at those on Thursday, and then we'll make an adjustment from there. But Shaden has been ramping up. He's been doing more.
Good.
But because he's been out, unfortunately, I think it's number one. It's going to keep him out of the slam dunk contest, which I personally was poking and prodding him for. But also, I don't know if he's going to play in this game.
So here are the rookies that made it. Bilal Coulibaly of the Washington Wizards, or Coulibaly.
Bilal Coulibaly.
Keontae George, Jordan Hawkins, Scoot Henderson, Chet Holmgren, Jaime Jaquez. Miami's like, see? Blazers should have taken him for Dame. Derek Lively.
He got busted open last night.
Brandon Miller. Brandon Podziemski, whatever. Carson Wallace and Victor Wembanyama. Those are your rookies that are going to be.
I could see
So Scoot does make sense in that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if Lively doesn't go, because he's been pretty beat up lately, I think you could maybe see Duop Reith added as a last addition.
Well, the amount of rookies that the Blazers play,
5.
There's not going to be very many.
5 of them. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 rookies. Well, hey, good for them.
Yeah, that's a bit of good news, and honestly, go out there, have some fun.
Yeah,
go out there, have some fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will, for the sake of time, we will make sure that we circle back to the most valuable player right now to a team's success in the NBA, because what he's doing is absolutely incredible. Because we've got bigger fish to fry.
We do. Coming up next, we have our worst day on the web. We throw a quick little, not necessarily a poll question, just a general collecting evidence question for who's the worst man in sports right now in the non-criminal division, i.e. not chopping up people's heads. That's OJ.
That's right. Wow.
Well, is he going to come for me?
I mean, I don't know if you read the book. If I did it.
Fight on?
Yeah, he's still looking.
Yeah.
He's still looking.
Still looking for that guy?
Still looking.
Yeah.
All right.
Golf courses all over the country.
The glove did not quit, so you must have quit.
Want to try that again?
The glove did not quit, so you must have quit.
The glove did not fit.
There we go.
So you must have quit?
Yes.
There you go.
Did I say the
glove?
twice?
You said the glove did not quit.
Yeah. Well, it
so
didn't quit either. That's right.
But first, here's the Big Kahuna, the Sports Center update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Only 24 cents to enroll this January. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers are off today, fresh off their most lopsided win of the season over the shorthanded 76ers. They wrap up the homestand tomorrow night as they welcome the Bucks and Damian Lillard in for his return to the Rose City. Portland is 14-33 on the season, the 5th worst record in the association. Multiple reports say Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson has told the Seahawks and Commanders he is staying in Detroit and will not be taking a head coaching position in this hiring cycle. Seattle is interviewing Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald today. NFL Network reporting the Steelers hiring former Falcons head coach Arthur Smith to be their new offensive coordinator, and former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley scheduled to interview for the Rams defensive coordinator job, a position he held in 2020. And on the Diamond, MLB Network reporting the Blue Jays and DH Justin Turner have agreed to a one-year, $13 million deal. The 39-year-old hit .276 with 23 home runs and a career-high 96 RBI last year with the Red Sox after spending the previous 9 seasons with the Dodgers. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Get the Spirit Mountain Casino Sportsbook, powered by BetMGM. For all the pro football postseason action, visit spiritmountain.com.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan.
Want to be like
Before today's show, we threw out a quick informal question. Who's the worst man in sports? Non-criminal division. Because that's specific. Because OJ, terrible. Probably killed people.
Miles
Bridges, complete POS.
There
Josh Giddey, universally seen as an absolute scumbag around the NBA.
Yep.
But in all of our responses, let me double check it. I did not see a single response. Not a single response for the one person you and I both have up there. We got close.
Yeah, I just wanted to see who people may feel is the worst person, because I think in this question, it is the most hated man in sports. It's a tough one because I think here locally, and this is kind of backing that, the view of him isn't what it is on the national stage or the national perception of him, because Dylan Brooks is climbing that list. And after last night against the Lakers, I think there's going to be a lot more people that kind of feel that way. In the NBA circles, I think like Pat Beverly was in town last night. A lot is cooled on Pat Bev.
His name did pop up. His name did pop up. But again, there's the thing that I hated about Patrick Beverly is I have long held the belief that he intentionally injured Russell Westbrook. And then when he came back from surgery, he tried to do the exact same thing to him, which is nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Draymond Green has certainly rose to that level. I think his removal for 15 games and subsequent just absolute drubbing by the entire sports world of like, he's kind of persona non grata, I think. And so he's kind of been knocked down a peg or two. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. You and I, neither of us are fans of the Los Angeles Lakers.
No.
They got screwed last night because the dirtiest player in sports, Dylan Brooks.
Ooh, I think he may be there.
Absolutely hauled off and clubbed LeBron James in the face and got away with it.
Yeah.
He ends up getting a flagrant one. Look, I have screamed about officiating this year. I am so sick and tired of it. Max Strus was teed up last night by Natalie Sago for literally handing her the ball too aggressively last night. I am in a position where I want to see I want to see the referees union burned to the ground and started from scratch. But last night, how the hell they didn't eject Dylan Brooks for, in midair, swiping with his left hand 3 feet away where the ball was, and finishing with his right hand across LeBron James's face with a closed fist. I don't understand how that's not an ejection.
Well, and then kind of furthering that, though, is that you had that escalating actions, right? Mm-hmm. He and Jared Vanderbilt got into it, and they ejected Jared Vanderbilt for going at Dylan Brooks. And he got 2 really quick tees. That is where I think that this is starting to turn. Like, there is, being a heel is one thing. And I think he's gone past heel 4 years ago.
Dance
around being a heel. It has gone back. Like, he has gone past that. I think a lot of teams in Oregon, obviously, he is going to be revered a little bit more than he will in other places because of the fact that, well, Memphis too.
Even in Memphis, they're still kind of like,
and in Houston, they're gonna be like, it's our guy. You always protect your guy. You always protect your guy. You do. I mean, but with Oregon, it's like, this is a dude who's on a Final Four team. Like, he was a huge piece of that. And he wasn't that player. The worst thing he did at Oregon was that flop against Utah.
It's the worst flop in college basketball history.
But I think that he's not there yet. He's going to be climbing that ladder rather quickly because of Draymond Green is near the end of his career. Dylan Brooks is not. He's like right in the middle of his career. Draymond Green should be that guy in the NBA, and I think a lot of people would probably say that. But I think that you're seeing him kind of start. Dylan Brooks can be climbing that ladder. He is still not like, and gosh, everybody's going in. The criminal section of this has definitely been settled, folks. And yes, Vince McMahon does fit in that bill now with the allegations that Vince McMahon has.
But again, but you have non-criminal division.
We've had Oscar Pistorius, Deshaun Watson. Those ones fall in the criminal.
Yeah,
those ones definitely fall in the criminal category.
Strictly on the court, a-holery.
But if you go NBA, I still do believe it's Draymond Green. He is number one. I think
Dylan's right there.
In the NFL, I think you have Aaron Rodgers. I think you maybe are on the opposite end of this. You hate Dylan Brooks a little bit more than I think most people do.
I think he's violently dirty.
Yeah, and I think, and backing my point, I think that you are on the extreme end of.
I think you might
Dylan
underestimate, though, how much people do hate him.
Yeah, no, they do. That's why I had this question posed, because he's up there, man. He is way up there.
I have a thing, like, I have a severe tolerance for a-holery in general, because I subscribe to said belief system.
Sure.
But I have zero tolerance for dirty. And so when somebody is dirty, they skyrocket up the list for me. And that's like one of those things where, like, I like a little little poking, needling, instigating, toughness. Like I'm about that.
He's
but
not
like
that.
No, he's dirty.
No.
And that's like when you cross that line, like you're either dirty or not, and once you cross the dirty line, you're dead to me. Like there's just like I want nothing. I want nothing to do with you.
Ooh, we have Taylor Swift came in earlier. Taylor Swift comes in a few times. We've had Aaron Rodgers.
Get over it.
Aaron Rodgers seems to be the get over it.
Sweet fancy Moses.
People do need to get over it. Aaron Rodgers has come in multiple times.
I could see that because it certainly rattles people, particularly politically.
Yeah, and well, he also tries to be the smartest person in the room and says things that are wildly dumb.
Sure.
I mean,
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
I think that is probably it. Pat Bev has come in several times. We have John Fisher. I mean, he may be the most hated owner in sports.
Yeah, he's up there for sure.
Because Dan Snyder's gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
Somebody had to take the mantle.
Yeah, and I won't even give him an RIP for his ownership.
It's really interesting though, just kind of where we sit in all.
Some guy said Jerry Krause. Dude's dead and his family got booed.
That was, I mean, we could put Bulls fans up there.
But Bulls fans booing Jerry Krause's wife.
Widow? Like that was like I was obviously I was out
Made
for
her
that.
cry.
That was nasty work.
Yeah.
Like that's did you guys debate?
That's peak a-holery.
Yeah, did you guys debate whether that was worse than throwing batteries at Santa?
They didn't know. They didn't. Apparently, the fans didn't necessarily know what exactly was going on, and they just saw him on the screen, and they've come accustomed to just booing Jerry Krause, not knowing he was being honored and his family was there.
The spotlight and the introduction.
Yikes.
Speaking didn't give that away.
No. They booed before.
Oh, okay.
They booed before, and then there's like this. Oh no! Because they did the intro video, and then it was,
and then here's Jerry Krause's widow.
Yeah, that's brutal. Like that. I mean, you have to. In knowing that's on the game ops and the game management for the Bulls.
No way, the Bulls got something wrong with
They're like, we need to set up what we are doing here so everybody knows. And instead they just, I guess,
just YOLO'd it.
And I wasn't there, obviously, but the reports are that they rolled out the video, people started booing, and then they're like, Jerry Krause's wife is like, oh no.
It's tough.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, that's not great.
Because The Last Dance, for the people that weren't tainted, The Last Dance, 100% tainted.
I said something about that on Twitter, and I had a bunch of Bulls fans like, no, we've been booing him for this long. I'm like, you're 17. Shut up.
No.
You weren't even alive.
Yeah.
You had no idea. Your dad told you about Jerry Krause.
Yes.
Don't tell me you weren't tainted by The Last Dance, the only thing we had on TV in the first part of COVID that literally the entire world was shaped by.
Yeah, see, hate is learned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You were not alive for Jerry Krause, and yet you claim those 6 titles and how awful he was. Shut up.
Well, I mean, you should maybe pump the brakes because Blazer fans, very few of them have seen the 77 title, but still proud of it here. Still proud of it here in Portland.
Shut up. Huh. Was that just now?
No, that's an earlier one.
No. You being very angry and yelling "shut up" is a pretty
standard,
pretty often occurrence here.
Standard,
yeah,
All
we
right.
see it quite often.
All right,
but don't change.
I didn't.
Rust is feeling himself. Rust is cooking over there.
Is my page kind of growing here? Is that where we're at?
Oh, your page has always been relatively large.
Yeah.
I have multiple snorts.
No, one's me is one you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, God dang.
Yeah, snort free over here.
No, definitely not.
Ew.
We have a snort of each of us.
Don't do that. That is bad.
I told my wife about that one.
According to Rip City Reddit, Danny Meringue has been put out.
Oh
there.
yeah, no. So
What Reddit doesn't like you?
I made a joke the other day about how I was getting torn up on Reddit because the Pascal Siakam deal, the 3 first-round picks and Bruce Brown. I'm like, I don't think the Blazers would take that deal because it was 2 2024 first-round picks in 2026. And a buddy of mine texted me, he's like, they're eating you alive on Reddit. I'm like, they hate me there. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But so that I made a joke about it on the podcast the other night. And so
those are doo-doo picks anyways.
Yeah, that was the whole point. It's like the Blazers do not want 2 more 2024 first-round picks and not
that are heavily protected.
And not only that, it was like their late 20s. It's, again, long story short, I'm very, very, very sure the Blazers would not give Jeremy Grant away for that because it's just not useful. And a lot of people were very mad about it. And I was just like, oh, okay.
No, I agree. Like, that is not.
It is what it is. But I made a joke about, and I love popping over the Reddit. I pop in there probably like once every 8-10 days just to check, kind of see what's going on.
Dude, as somebody who lives on the internet, you got to.
They do some cool stuff over there every now and then.
Yeah.
They do.
You
Like,
live
it's
on the internet,
they genuinely they do. It's like,
Reddit does have some good finds in there.
No, absolutely. And our Rip City is a huge community. So, but yeah, no, I pop over there every now and then, and it's usually because somebody's mad at me about something, and it's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's fun. The kind of stuff used to bother me years ago, but now it's kind of like,
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah. You know what haters can't hate?
What?
But the current state of basketball being played by MVP level candidates.
That's right.
Yeah. You want to talk about maybe how that Luka Doncic guy's?
What would you say if I said no?
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Coming up next year on Danny Dusty, Tune in the Fan. of notes around the NBA, as it were, with really some of the best players in the association right now. First of all, Joel Embiid is listed as questionable tonight after missing the last 2 games. The aforementioned game last night against the Portland Trailblazers, where, he couldn't play because if he did play after ghosting in Denver, it would have looked really bad. So they've got to kind of string this out. But if he misses tonight's game against the Warriors, he will have 4 games remaining that he can miss and still be eligible for the MVP.
Yeah, because they have that new clause that you have to play in, what is the percentage of games?
62 games.
62 of 82 games. So you can only miss 20 games.
17 games. Yeah. Sorry, 65 games.
65 games of the 82 you have to play in order to be eligible for the MVP. He's playing at that level, though, man.
He's averaging more points than minutes played.
But when you look at it, you have guys, he won it a year ago.
He's better this year than he was last year, and Jokic's counting numbers are down, and the 76ers are a better team.
But what we hate to do is back-to-back MVPs because media is stupid.
Yes.
See no further than Major League Baseball Hall of Fame or Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yes, 74.3% of the vote.
It's so stupid. Just put them all in.
Just put them.
What are we doing here? But there's a guy who is just man on fire, walking torch. Luka Doncic, in what he's done in the last 3 games, like, what he has done, you sit there and you go, his value cannot be understated. What are the Dallas Mavericks without him? Kyrie Irving is out. Mm-hmm. It is the Luka Doncic show. In the last 3 games, he is averaging 48 points on 56% shooting.
What's insane is if you want to look at 2 guys in the last month, for the month of January, Joel Embiid is averaging 39.1 points.
Good Lord.
10.5 rebounds, 5.1 assists, shooting 54, 42, 86. Luka Doncic is averaging 37.1, 10.4 assists, 9.2 rebounds on 49, 35, 77.
Like, think of that, though. The assist number is nuts with Luka, because in those the last 3 games where he had 73, 28, and then 45 last night, he scored 146 points and had 39 assists. 30. He's averaging over 10 assists while just filling the bucket up too. It is ridiculous.
In his 73-point game, he was responsible for creating over 100 points.
More people need to tell him to get his ass on a treadmill, because since that game, he has been unstoppable.
And you're seeing, I asked Chauncey Billups this last night. Might have been the game before. It all blends together. What needs to happen in order for there to be a change in the NBA as far as the scoring and the individual greatness? I'm like, is there any innovation left that you can do to tilt the balance of power? Not even back to defense, but like some semblance of being able to. Because when we talked about particularly Jokic, Giannis, Joel, Luka, because you double them, Luka's the smallest of them at 6'8". But his vision is unparalleled. His processing ability. You double him from the front, he's going to dribble out the back, reset, find something else.
Yep.
You bring a double from the back, he's going to step around, throw it. If you trap him, he's going to get over the top and play 4-on-3. Like, there's nothing. Giannis, he can't shoot, but you know what he can do? He's modern day Shaq. Physically, he's just going to run you over, and there's nothing you can do about it. Same with Jokic, same with Embiid. They can all shoot. They can all step out. They can all do something that breaks everything that you do. And Chauncey basically just conceded, and he said other coaches kind of feel the same way in the sense of something has to change rule-wise. Because
bring back hand checking.
Something. And I don't want to see like the corner 3-pointer go away. Like, that's a very drastic. That changes the geography of the game.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, that's a massive change. Allowing there's a foul that I have really hated to see more and more and more this season. It is the defender not closing out, but let's say giving you and I the space that I'm giving you right now, and the ball is on the opposite side of the court. Mm-hmm. It comes over. I step to you. You, as the offensive player, drive into my chest, and it's a foul on me.
Yeah.
Why is that a foul? That's my space.
Right.
Why is that a foul? And it's one of those things. That's another way for them to have another quiver or another arrow in their quiver. And it's just, there's so much. But the thing that makes Luka and Joel and these guys so great, there's nothing left that they haven't capitalized on, Dusty. What if I said with the exception of Luka getting in better shape, or Jokic getting in better shape, or Joel finding the fountain of youth and staying healthy, or Giannis finding a 3-pointer, like things that you're like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Is there any other way that you think they could exploit what they're doing any better?
Boy, no, because it all comes down to physicality, right? Yeah. Just being bigger, stronger, faster, and there's very few people in the world that fit that build now.
With that talent.
Right.
And so you just look at these guys and you just sit there and you go, like, I've mentioned this story before, when Dame had 71. I go in the locker room after the game and joking with him. 71, man, that's pretty nuts. You know what the first thing the guy says to me is? Should have had 90.
Right.
Like, that's where these guys are mentally. That's the world that they live in, is that there's no limit to what they can do offensively. Luka had 65 through 3 quarters, and the only reason he didn't have 90 is the Hawks looked around and said, we are not going to be Jalen Rose.
Right.
We are not going to be the answer to the trivia question. What team did Kobe Bryant score the second highest points against? And the answer being the Toronto Raptors.
Now, this is a decent text on the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. If players are that good, then why do we try to slow them down? Why can't they be the bar for everybody else to try to get to? Now, if you look at it, I think what needs to happen is, as a whole, the NBA in the scoring, there are a lot of guys that can just fill it up.
Yes.
But there are very few people that can defend because you can't touch anybody anymore.
No, that's the thing. You can't catch up because the best defenders in the NBA, OG Anunoby, one of the best wing defenders in the NBA, he can't shut any of these guys down.
Former Blazer great, Drew Holiday, one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA.
Best guard defender in the league. He cannot shut anybody down. These guys cannot be shut down.
Yeah.
Because of bigger, stronger, longer, faster, and the rules that are all allowing them, the freedom of movement rules that they have. It's like in the NFL. There's no Darrelle Revis anymore. That doesn't exist. Yeah. Revis Island is not a thing. Why? Because you can't be physical outside of the first 5 yards. And they've made that very clear. And so those like there needs to be some fundamental change. But in the meantime, it is fun as hell to watch these guys do what they do.
All right. What if you do it because the NBA's done this before. Remember when they pushed the 3-point line way too far back, then they made it too close, and they found
that sweet spot.
Medium.
Yeah.
What if you push the 3-point line back a little bit further, and you actually make the change of widening the floor from 50 to 53 feet?
That's the one that I wonder.
So you can still have the corner 3,
but it's just further away. But also, I think what do they call it? A parabolic. I think where it's the same length. Because that's the other thing. It's not just the corner 3 is like in the corners and where it puts you. It's significantly shorter. Like if you look at the studies that are done between guys, high school, college to NBA, and like how effectively they shoot at each distance, each foot gets drastically worse. Yeah. And so but again, the difference between, hey, bring back hand checking or change the dimensions of the court or the field.
Yeah.
Like imagine if the NFL was like, what if we made you play on, instead of 53 1/3, 50? But like all of a sudden it's like you have significantly less space to work with. Like what does that mean defensively?
Sure.
You know? And so it's I'm not totally opposed to those, but I think that's a good spot for the G League.
Yeah. Just go with the try.
Let's go try it there.
Here's the problem if you bring back like hand checking, right? Is that
it's subjective.
It's a star-driven league, and stars will all of these guys that are in this conversation of, all right, the NBA coaches believe that there's a problem, in this is more than coaches, people that run the league, administration of the NBA, whether it's at the team or the league level, are like, it's getting to that point where we may see 80s levels scoring, right?
Yeah.
But
they also don't want to ugly it up like it was in the 90s because they're in the middle of a TV deal.
But you want to it's a star-driven league, and they made their bed. They're having to sleep in it now because preferential treatment is
rampant.
It's not a bigger deal in any other sport than basketball.
No.
And then I think you get baseball with pitchers and star hitters, and then you get football. Because like baseball is one where it's like,
Those strike zones can change.
Umpires get afraid sometimes when you have great hitters because it's like, I know that's not a strike, and you better not call it a strike because if they don't swing, it definitely ain't a strike, right? So it's really interesting in that to see what would be the change. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the NBA looks at it as a problem until that next TV deal is solved.
Well, that Luka dude, he's really damn good.
Yeah,
though.
if you look at the basketball that is being played
How
by
bad would they be without him right now?
very, very bad.
The Blazers are bad.
Yeah, no, worse.
They're worse.
Worse.
Yeah.
They just, I mean, outside of Kai, they have nothing as far as creation.
No.
I mean, nothing. So,
But with him, they're the 7th seed in the Western Conference.
But I
right
mean,
now.
you look at the guys that at the top of the league right now: Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, Luka, Shea. That's your top 5 MVP.
Yeah.
It's kind of think about it real quick. Not a single American among them.
Yeah, we've been going down this path for a while, though.
Stinking Canadians.
You know, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. All right, coming up next year on hour number 3, the letter O is making his return to Portland tomorrow night. How are we feeling about it, Portland? We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
stars.
Hour number 3 here on a Tuesday afternoon in the wonderful city of Portland, Oregon. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you. It feels a little different, maybe because the letter O's back in town. Damian Lamont Ollie Lillard Sr. is in town. He is hanging out here in Portland ahead of tomorrow night's matchup with the Portland Trailblazers, the first time, obviously, since being traded by the Portland Trailblazers to the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe he's currently at Adidas, undergoing a bit of a ceremony, a welcome back. They unveiled a giant billboard.
Yeah, they do the 3-up, 3-down, or they're doing the whole name a building after a player like Nike does.
Yes. And the Adidas gym has been named for Damian Lamont Ollie Lillard Sr.
That works and that fits because of the fact that you have Dame is their guy. Like, he is the most reliable spokesperson that they have right now. Who is in the Adidas arsenal right now? Harden?
Yep. Derrick Rose. I mean, who's even on Adidas soccer right now?
I do believe I saw too that this is the first Adidas building infrastructure, what have you, to be named after an athlete.
And Edwards, who, God, he's stepped in it multiple times already.
Oh, send the videos. Maybe their multimedia division gets named after him.
Yeah. So
goodness gracious.
And they've still got.
Well, they got Messi. Wait, is he still?
I don't
with the
think he's still, or I don't think he's re-signing with them. So you've got Donovan Mitchell, who
that's brutal,
decent profile. Harden obviously is tailing out. Rose obviously is not what he used to be. David Beckham is still an athlete, but like that's what I'm saying. Like they had a catalog. Remember the early Dame Lillard days? Dame was number 3. It was John Wall, James Harden, and Dame. Remember where Fast Ain't Fair?
Yep.
Like,
Fast Ain't Fair.
That was they had was it A$AP Rocky?
Yeah, Lionel Messi has a lifetime deal with them.
Okay, this is the lifetime
Messi has a lifetime deal with them, and I believe Beckham does too. So they're good on soccer. But they basketball in naming a gymnasium after a guy.
There's no Kylian Mbappe. There's no.
Now they're aging out.
All of their guys are all aging.
Mo Salah.
Yeah, and again, who's it's they're.
That's
the Three Stripes is in an interesting spot right now, but I think Dame's going to end up being a lifer.
Yeah,
because he's already gone through one 10-year deal, and I think part of this whole unveiling is that he's going to be a part of Three Stripes for the long haul, but. He's back in town, and it's gonna be an interesting 48 hours for him.
It really will be. There's gonna be a lot of emotion that goes into this.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of emotion that goes into his return. It's gonna be like the first sellout that we see in a while.
It's gonna be nuts in there,
and probably the last sellout that we see for a while.
I'm trying to think, rattle through my head. Are they going to do one more in the season? Probably not.
No. I mean, well, no, they won't. And right now, what is the
Miami?
You can still get in the door. Tickets as low as $50, apparently.
Look, if you were a Damian Lillard fan, if you're a Portland Trailblazer fan, I would strongly urge you to be there tomorrow.
You can go to the Pistons Cavs game for $3 right now.
Yeah, that's racks.
Yikes.
That's not only that, if you're in that region, it's just a bus ride.
Yikes.
It's a short trip.
That's crazy. But there's going to be a ton of emotion there. His family's going to be there, obviously. You've got his roots are still here.
Yes. Talking to him the other day, one of the things he said he was most looking forward to was sleeping in his own bed.
Oh, he's not going to stay at the team hotel?
I mean,
you don't do that?
I mean, he's got his own place here. Like, it's, you get to go into your own closet and sleep in your own bed and go home and family. And
I guess I never thought about that, though, when you're an NBA player.
A lot of guys live in New York, LA, Miami.
Yeah.
And when they do go to this, well, LA is a little bit different. It depends on where your house is at.
Sure.
Because LAX is not a hops or a quick little jaunt.
It's not close to anything.
No. So depends on where you live. But if you're going to be there for a couple of days, like the Blazers, they were there in LA for 4 days. You want to go stay at the hotel for 4 days? You want to go home for 4 days? I like home. Home's good, especially when you're on the road all the time.
Yeah. You just don't hear of that in really any other professional sport,
I think just because of the way the other sports are, the calendars, like maybe in baseball.
Yeah.
Maybe there's baseball guys who, when they take a long trip and stay in LA.
Maybe if you're there for a series, but I haven't heard of that. You just kind of stick with your team because the schedule is so regimented, right? Treatment is at the hotel.
But also
everything
for
that you do is
Dame, this is the only time he comes out here.
Sure.
Because it's just the one and done, and he hasn't been home. So
Damn.
yeah, and I'll share this one. He is very, 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 very much looking forward to this game. You know, I've talked to him in the lead up.
He gonna go off? He's gonna score 100? You
He
can go for that 90 that he left on the floor?
no, so this is what he said. He very much wants to come here, and he wants to show that it's all love, that he has no ill will towards the fan base, towards the organization. This is home for him. When he gets done playing this game, this is home. This is where he's going to live. This is where he's going to, his family is going to grow up.
That being said, I'm going to come and rip your hearts out and put up 80 on you.
Well, here's the thing. He said, I want to come there. I want to play well and I want to win and I want to leave with a win. But I know that I'm going to be emotional and I don't know how. I just need to get through this game. And that's the thing. Is like Sean Highkin was with the Chicago Bulls when Dwayne Wade came there and he went to Miami for his first game back. Mm-hmm. And Dwayne Wade said it was the most difficult game he played. He played like crap, was just trying to get through it. And I think Dame will very much feel the same way. He's going to get hit with that 2-minute long
absolutely
video, and it's going to mess him up.
In the crowd cheering, and if you hear a boo, stop it.
Slap him.
Slap him. But when he gets the ovation that he deserves and he should get, mm-hmm. I think that
it's going to break him.
He's going to be a mess.
No, because he's
going to be a mess.
Dame's an emotional dude.
Yeah, but if you boo him, that's when he's going to rip your heart out.
Yeah, you boo that man. But he's not going to get the LaMarcus treatment, and he knows that.
No. Even though, and here's the thing about when Dame left is there is no breakup that is easy.
No.
And there were all of these reports that, he was at odds with the front office and management. There are little blips. There are little blips that happen.
Yeah, that's how relationships go. They're never 100%.
But it also, they served right by him by sending him to Milwaukee, for God's sakes, right? They didn't do him dirty, and so anything that was acrimonious at the time, that's all water under the bridge, I think, on both sides, because the haul that the Blazers got in return and have parlayed it into, mm-hmm. and they may not be done in the next week.
Sure.
For what the haul is eventually going to be for Damian Lillard. Let bygones be bygones. I think that both sides have kind of gotten to that point, and it's harder for the player to get over than the team.
Yeah. And Chauncey Billups last night during the post-game press conference, was asked about, how he feels about Dame coming back. And he said, hey, he was more than just a guy that I coached, but I was lucky to have him be the first guy that I had that I coached. But I look at him like a little brother. And when he requested a trade, Jason Quick from The Athletic asked him if he asked him to stay. And Chauncey said no, because I didn't think that was what was right for him.
Yeah.
That knowing what we were going to do and how we were headed, that it wasn't fair to ask him to score 40 a night and grind through this in the limited amount of time he had left. And we want to see him do well, which is why we got him to a place that put him in a position to compete for a title. And so it's going to be a lot of emotions, man. It's cool to know that he's back in the city, mm-hmm. that you can already kind of feel the groundswell more than 24 hours away from the game.
Yeah.
I have yet to receive a text, a DM of like, I'm mad. I'm going to be emotional. I'm going to be, this is going to be nuts. I can't believe this is happening. I'm already crying. Like, this is going to be it's going to be a weird night, because think about every other divorce.
Kill him with kindness.
Separation, whatever you want to call it, that has taken place with the Blazers star players. Bill Walton, messy. Mm-hmm. Messy. Clyde, nasty. LaMarcus, spurned lover.
Hell, even B. Roy, because B. Roy wanted to go and still play. He went to Minnesota.
Medically unretired, and it got messy between him and Paul Allen.
Yep. As
much as this was messy, Dame does not hold any ill will.
No. Well, there we go.
And so it's gonna be really interesting to kind
Future
of see
Blazer, Damian Lillard,
how that all plays out. Coming up next, 3 Up, 3 Down, because I'm an idiot, didn't do it at 2:00. We're going to do it at 2:15. 3 things we like, 3 things we didn't. Coming out of the NFL Championship weekend, that was Danny and Dusty, Tenny the Fan. Well, it's the last week coming out of the second to last week before the Super Bowl, because we had the week before. So this is the last time we're going to have 3 up, 3 down, 3 things we like, 3 things we didn't, coming out of the NFL weekend that was before our Super Bowl matchup. It's the penultimate. Dun, 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 dun.
That is right.
Yeah. Does it hurt?
It's sad.
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
We wait so long for football season to come around. And then it's around for a very long time.
No, it goes by too quick.
Does it go by too quick for you?
Way too quick. Every year it's too fast. It just goes by way too fast, and then we just sit and wait again.
Year-round football?
No, because I don't want...
You're not waiting for that sweet, sweet USFL action?
You mean the UFL?
Oh, that's right. They combined the two, the XFL, UFL combination.
Yeah. And no, I don't want to. No. I'll watch it if nothing else is on.
Although the Senior Bowl looks like it's going to be pretty rad.
Senior Bowl is awesome. And the Senior Bowl has got
loaded.
Bigger and bigger names, because now you have the underclassmen who declare early. They can join the Senior Bowl festivities. And by the way, rave reports from the offensive line, Fuaga from Oregon State, Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. Those are the 2 guys that everybody after day 1 of practices were like, those 2 have knocked it out of the park.
Oh, no way. The 2 best guys at their positions in college football were having good practices?
They are shining at the Senior Bowl, which is not always the case, because everybody's put under a microscope.
Sure.
And Fuaga against Laitu Latu from UCLA absolutely just manhandled him. And so it's interesting. You have Bo Nix, Michael Penix, both those guys.
Roman Wilson from Michigan
at the Senior Bowl. Yeah. Lad McConkey, I guess, is just carving dudes up. Senior Bowl is going to be good.
There's some dudes there this year.
Yeah.
But with respect to football, Jeff Russ, fire us up some NFL films. Wonderful stuff. 3 up, 3 down, 3 things we like, 3 things we didn't, coming out of the NFL weekend that was. Dusty, what do you got for us?
Yeah, my first up is the Purdy Party. Brock Purdy did something that we've never seen in regular or postseason history. Look, the dude shed the label of a game manager. He went out and he put the 49ers offense on his friggin' back in the second half, where he had over 150 yards, 45 rushing yards, completed 80% of his passes, and had 0 turnovers. Dude was a man on fire, and he is ratcheting his game to another level. I think we are going to see a really fun Super Bowl, because you got 2 quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, we know how he can improvise. Brock Purdy can improvise too, and as he's gotten more comfortable as the season has gone on, he has improvised more and more, and it is damn fun quarterbacking to watch Brock Purdy.
I'm going to follow you on the Purdy train here. I was trying to think of a way to kind of go about this, because I didn't want to just talk about Purdy and his second half. Wins are a quarterback stat. But it's interesting that Brock Purdy, even though it is not 25 playoff games, every playoff game he has started and finished, he has won.
Dang. It's pretty good.
When you're talking about, nobody wants it to be a stat until you want it to be a stat, is to be a win, the win being the quarterback stat. But if we're going to attach it to the quarterback and the guy's playing and the guy's finishing, he's undefeated. And so you just come out of that, you just kind of have to go, well, until somebody knocks him off that horse and he's still standing at the end of the game, you just got to give him the nod.
Yeah. My second up is going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I mean, you want to talk about a defense that you play complementary football. All you do in this playoffs is you've given up 7 points to the Miami Dolphins and their explosive offense. You get into a little bit more of an ugly game against the Buffalo Bills, but you do enough and you make the stops down the stretch to win 27-24. And when Josh Allen is taking over games like that, it is a scary thing. And it may be that Stephon Diggs think about that, the ripple effect of Stephon Diggs letting that ball go through his hands, and how we are looking at not just the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Buffalo Bills and what could have happened in the AFC Championship game. The butterfly effect is amazing. But then you give up 10 points to this vaunted Ravens defense, and you do it with losing 2 starters in that game on the defensive side of the ball. They have been so impressive throughout the season, but this postseason, they have answered the bell against 3 of the most scary offenses to game plan for, 3 wildly different offenses to game plan for as well.
No, it is impressive, and I'm going to go on the other side of this. the 49ers have kind of been the team of destiny that didn't the last couple of years. And a lot of that has been, quarterback injuries, certainly a part of it. But there's also been I would say, side-eye thrown at the greatness of Kyle Shanahan and his inability or unwillingness to make certain adjustments or to stick with certain game plans and getting away from really what his family knows best, which is run the bleeping ball. That is the Shanahan motto. Be creative, but your roots are embedded in the run game. And down 24-7, they stuck true to Trent Williams.
Down 14-0.
They just getting mauled. They stuck to who they were, and Shanahan stuck to his guns, really for the first time, and won a playoff game from behind. So I think you've got to give Shanahan and the 49ers their flowers.
Kind of on that note, one other thing about the KC defense that I didn't put in there, they've given up 41 points in this postseason in 3 games. The 49ers have given up 52-2. That's how damn good they've been.
Pretty good, which is interesting when you look at those rosters.
Yep, and my third up has got to go to the Lions' future with Ben Johnson saying, I'm coming back. I'm going to be back as the offensive coordinator. I think the Lions' future is very bright. They are, again, look what Brad Holmes has done in the draft. They've got a complement of draft picks coming up this year. They are already very young in all phases. They have the luxury of just saying, what do we want, not what do we need? They need, in the secondary, they need some help. But you can also go and dip into free agency for a corner as well. The Lions have a luxury here. They have a luxury where they can take a couple of guys early if they feel confident in 2 corners. Go get 2 corners early because you don't have massive holes to fill everywhere else.
Go do what Seattle did. And you need 2 tackles. Go get them.
You keep Ben Johnson.
It's going to be interesting to kind of see how that all shakes out as we get into the off season for particularly the Ravens and the Lions. My last up, it's Mahomes and Kelsey. It pains me to compliment the Chiefs, but I'm doing it, and I'm doing it in the cheapest way possible, in the easiest way possible, which is they're the best duo in the history of the NFL, and they just keep finding ways to absolutely shatter the hearts, minds, and spirits of everyone not named Taylor Swift.
You're dang right. And their own fans. It's pretty, and all the Swifties out there. There's millions of them now.
Billions?
Is this going to be the most viewed Super Bowl because internationally Taylor Swift's status and people are going to be wanting to see Taylor Swift on there too?
It will have a massive impact. The NFL's counting on that.
Does she join Usher?
I don't think the NFL. I don't think Usher wants to allow that because then it's no longer about him. It becomes about Taylor Swift. Because those contracts that are written for those halftime shows are nutty and they don't get paid.
Well, and even if she does make it back,
that's better for Usher, though.
Even if she does make it back in time,
she's supposed to make it by halftime from Tokyo.
Well, right, but these aren't the kind of things where you just kind of go out and wing it.
I would imagine they would have something done before, even if it's just a minor, quick little appearance. But remember we had the discussion during the Eminem 50 Cent halftime show, who was going to make the appearance, and there was the rumor of the Tupac hologram.
Yeah.
When we didn't get
Everybody did, though.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
Yeah, but Tupac didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't because he's dead. My first down is actually, I think it's an up because I think he's going to be really good. Arthur Smith hired as the offensive coordinator for the Steelers today. Steeler fans seem to be very upset about Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was really damn good as an offensive coordinator. He wasn't a good head coach.
He looked very sad.
What he did with the Tennessee Titans, though, honestly, go back and look at what he did with the Titans. It was really damn impressive when you consider their offensive line was always hurt. They had Ryan Tannehill as their quarterback.
They only really had one weapon.
Two.
It
fits Pittsburgh to a T.
Sure.
With Najee Harris, with George Pickens, with Pete Freiermuth, with the identity of protecting a defense, Arthur Smith works, but he's getting dragged right now because they just weren't good in Atlanta, but he didn't have a decent quarterback there either. All you need is just a nominal upgrade. And their offensive line is better than it was in Atlanta, too.
Yeah, do they have a nominal
Pittsburgh.
upgrade at quarterback, though?
They will. They will.
Figure it out?
Yeah, they will.
My first down is happy storylines.
Oh, okay.
Womp, 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 womp. Everybody wanted Ravens Lions, and we got nothing, and you will like it.
Okay.
That's it.
I think a lot of people are. You're a Raider fan, so you are just like the most.
I hate this.
You are out on this being Niners and Chiefs
Yeah, it
as a
sucks.
Raider fan. Like, this is the worst of the worst.
No,
This is your
it's
nightmare fuel.
No, it's awful.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Tell me, Lions Ravens would not have been more fun.
It absolutely would.
Okay,
I wanted
so there
that
you go.
100%.
Infinitely more fun. We were robbed of infinite more fun.
All right. My second down is Gardner Minshew is a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Nah, that's brutal, dude.
Bruh.
I love Gardner Minshew. I love everything
yes.
about Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew should not be a Pro Bowl
No.
quarterback. How many people had to say no before Gardner Minshew? CJ Stroud, also Pro Bowl quarterback. Josh Allen, not a Pro Bowl quarterback. And I think the way that this happens, if you were named a starter or a reserve to the game, and they say you opt out, we know that you opt out, but I think they go down the list and they're like, hey, you want to do this? And they don't report if you say no.
No.
They just report the guys who say yes.
Which
And-
Gardner Minshew probably has something built into his contract where if he's a Pro Bowler, he's probably got like a $250,000 kicker.
Dude, that MFer is driving his van, his conversion van, down to Vegas as we speak. He's going to be wearing jorts. It's going to be great.
Crushing.
But Gardner Minshew is a Pro Bowl quarterback.
The Rainier will flow like the Swallows of Capistrano.
Hell yeah, Ron Ye.
You'd love to see it. Love to see it. Things you don't love to see, the Ravens play calling. Todd Monken and the Baltimore Ravens, we've talked about it ad nauseum, coming out that weekend, just completely crapped the bed. And for a storyline to finish the way that it did after Lamar is going to win MVP, do what he did this season, show that he could do all the things, to be put in that position and also compound it with his own mistakes, it was just nasty to see coming out of that weekend, to look that bad.
Yeah. That was really bad. We went in on Todd Monken yesterday, and he deserves to be gone in on again today. The one drive you scored a touchdown on, you ran the effing football. The fact that he played scared. He coached that game scared. He coached it not to lose, and he lost. That was, and you know one thing we didn't talk about yesterday, but I want to get to? The fact that they should have been in a hurry-up offense their final 3 possessions, and they had zero sense of urgency. Zero. It was just like the most in-over-your-head game I've ever seen. It sucked. All right, my third down. There's only 1 game left. That makes me sad.
Yeah.
It's 1 game.
Well,
we
it's
got
2.
1 game. No, it's a flag football game. It's not even a real game. We got 1 game
I know
left.
we were trying to protect people and everything, but
I think it's fun. It is fun. Like it's not for us adults.
I guess.
My 7-year-old
loves it.
He cannot wait.
Don't
He's
they-
like, when
don't
does
they-
it start, Dad?
Don't they do like the Nickelodeon thing with it now too?
No, they're doing a Nickelodeon Super Bowl broadcast.
Oh, again?
Yeah, they're doing the Super Bowl broadcast from Nickelodeon.
Side by side? Okay.
But this is but he's pumped for the skills challenge. He wants to see the flag football game because it's the NFL has put so much
Into flag
football that it's big to the kids now because they're like, I play flag football too. So it actually is something that they're interested in. And look, I am a 39-year-old male. I want to see the quarterback skills challenge. You want to have me go back to the days where we had Jim Harbaugh and Dan Marino
airing it out,
just throw the ball as far as they can. I want it.
Want to watch me throw that ball over that mountain?
Yeah, and you know now,
yes, I do.
Now that it's C.J. Stroud and Gardner Minshew, and it's not like quarterbacks where it'd be like, I'd be super bummed out if like Joe Burrow threw his elbow out.
Yeah.
Right? No, give it to me. I want to see Gardner Minshew and C.J. Stroud in the throw off.
Yes.
Damn it.
100%.
I want all of it.
I want to see hit the uprights.
Yeah.
At 65 yards.
Yes.
That's fun.
Absolutely.
I love stupid human tricks.
I want it.
See, there you go. There's 2 left then. There you go. My last one is the Lions defense. We've talked so much about how great the Lions season was. The coordinating jobs by both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell as a coach. The collective efforts of that team. But by God, the secondary just could not make a single bleeping play
Doo-doo, baby.
to save their lives. And for that to be the undoing of such a fantastic season, the first division title in 30 years, biting kneecaps off every step of the way. The fighting Dan Campbells go down not swinging. And that was a bit of a bummer. Not even a bit of a bummer. It was a bummer.
That was a meltdown.
Yeah.
That was a meltdown. Look.
And I didn't like it. I was really, really, really pulling for the
L'Jarius Sneed is a free agent, okay, out of Kansas City. You've got Jalen Johnson, the corner for the Bears. He is a free agent. Woozy from Cincinnati is a free agent. They can go and they can spend
one. Yeah,
they can go spend
because they only did a bunch of like 1 year deals for guys on this back end of this defense. Go
bolster your corners, dude.
I want to see it happen.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen. Speaking of things that are happening, there's been a bunch of hires and fires and everything else in between just since we've done the show. We've talked about Arthur Smith a little bit, getting a job. Kellen Moore going to Philadelphia. And what the bleep are the Seattle Seahawks going to do at their coaching position? We'll get to that more. Coming up here in Danny and Dusty. But first, here's Big Kahuna with Sports Center Update.
You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by LaRog Brothers Jewelers. Save up to 70% on diamond earrings at LaRog.com. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers are off today, fresh off their most lopsided win of the season over the shorthanded 76ers. They wrap up the homestand tomorrow night as they welcome the Bucks for Damian Lillard's return to the Rose City. Portland 14-33 on the season, the 5th worst record in the league. For the upcoming All-Star Weekend, Scoot Henderson has been named to the Rising Stars rookie team, while Shaden Sharp has been named to the sophomore team. Multiple reports say Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson has told the Seahawks and Commanders he's staying in Detroit and will not be taking a head coaching position in this hiring cycle. Seattle is interviewing Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald for their head coaching vacancy today. NFL Network reporting the Steelers hiring former Falcons head coach Arthur Smith to be their new offensive coordinator. Former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley scheduled to interview for the Rams defensive coordinator job, a position he held in 2020. And MLB Network reporting the Blue Jays and DH Justin Turner have agreed to a 1-year, $13 million deal. The 39-year-old hit .276 with 23 home runs and a career-high 96 RBI last year with the Red Sox after spending the previous 9 seasons with the Dodgers. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Get to Spirit Mountain Casino Sportsbook, powered by BetMGM. For all the pro football postseason action, visit SpiritMountain.com.
You're invited to play in the first annual Fan Winter Golf Classic at X Golf Tualatin and X Golf Vancouver. Sign your threesome up at 1080thefan.com.
As we're wrapping up today's show here in the final couple of minutes, reminder, if you missed any part of today's show, you can get the Dan and Dusty Show and all of the shows across the 1080 Fan Airwaves, wherever you get your podcast, brought to you by Service Patriots. Service Patriots is your home comfort solution for all of your heating and air conditioning needs. Check out the latest special offers for our listeners at servicepatriots.com/thefan. The Fan. Okay, it is that time of the year. Mm-hmm. We are past Black Monday. The opportunities for coaching hires and fires is mostly solidifying. Yet there's two teams that are still out there, kind of going, who are we gonna hire as our head coach now?
But you know what? I actually think that what the commies and the Seahawks are doing. Seahawks. I think what they're doing is smart. Is there a shortage of good coaches available?
No.
Are they?
Is this jurisprudence, or is this
who are they? Are they
unsure?
Are they reaching for anybody? Because we've seen reaches like Dave Canales in Carolina, which I actually think that dude is cut from the Pete Carroll cloth. Like, he followed him from SC up to Seattle, was in Seattle for 12 years,
worked his way all the way up,
squeezed every ounce out of Russ, Geno, and Baker Mayfield. Like, it could work, but they're very dysfunctional there.
The Tepper situation is, that.
So neither one of these teams have reached yet. If either one of them hire Bill Belichick, which I don't think Seattle would ever do, Washington has said that they won't do it. Okay. Would that be viewed as a bad hire?
I don't think that either would be viewed as bad hires. I think the interesting thing to consider this with all of this is that what we talked about earlier in the sense of coach organizations, when you have one style of coach going to another.
But it wouldn't be viewed as a bad hire because it's the best coach that we've seen. No, right?
The only hesitation I think would probably be like with Belichick's age.
Well, and that would be, all right, so you went out and you got the guy who's regarded as the best coach to ever do it.
To help you reset.
Even if it's a stopgap. Yeah. Right?
Pretty good stopgap.
If they hired Mike Vrabel,
as far as Corks go,
would they be criticized for Mike Vrabel hire?
No, absolutely. Neither team would.
Okay.
In fact, I think Seattle would be lauded for that.
Would they be criticized if they went out and they hired Mike McDonald, who is 36 years old and a rising star in the coaching ranks, who was the coordinator for the Ravens defense this year?
Not one bit.
Right? Yeah. So you got two teams, and we just named three guys that if you hired them, then you're like, hey, I think that those are three good hires.
And this is with Pittsburgh
almost universally
kind of being grilled right now for hiring Arthur Smith, and the Eagles going out and getting Kellen Moore. So you're even with those other hires taking place and those guys going off the market, both those organizations are still in a good spot.
Kellen Moore wouldn't be a head coach, right? No, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The perception of it all.
But if so, you have those three guys. So this is going to be the fallback that both of these organizations go with. Whomever they do hire, if it's not any of those three, they are going to sell it to their fan base, whether it's right or wrong, that the person that they hired was better than those three, right? When you're the last in the hiring cycle, you usually are, you're just picking up off the scrap heap, right? We're in a weird place this year where there are three different guys in completely different stages of their careers. That you have Belichick, who's the back end of his career, like he's in the final stage of his career.
We're on the 18th.
You've got Vrabel, who is a proven winner,
prime,
and was part of a dysfunctional franchise for a lot of years and squeezed a lot out of it and then got into a fight with the owner. And then you have Mike McDonald, who is rising star. Now, problem is all three of those guys are defensive
They're all
guys.
Defensive, yep. There is a shortage of offensive guys out there,
but don't reach, right?
But also, both organizations, again, Seattle and Washington, are coming off of what coaches? Defensive
coaches, yeah.
And so I think there's a reticence or a hesitancy to run that back, particularly when you look at everything and where they sit. Who's in the Super Bowl right now? Where do both head coaches cut their teeth?
The offense. Born and raised in offense, yeah.
So it's not to say that you can't.
Nope.
It's not to say that you can't do it on the defensive side of the ball. You get the right coordinators. I mean, the Lions these close.
Hell.
Harbaugh was these close. You know,
You're talking special teams coordinator in John Harbaugh,
Yeah.
right? You're talking Nick Sirianni was a position coach, not even a play caller. Those are guys that Harbaugh was on the cusp of the Super Bowl, and Sirianni was playing for one last year and damn near won it, right? It's been a really interesting hiring cycle in that regard.
there's been some diversification along those fronts.
But there is also not a lot of those young, bright offensive minds that we've had in the last 5-6 years. There have been a bunch of them, and I think that is Ben Johnson going back to Detroit. I think is a great move on his part,
but also a bit of a surprise.
But I think it's a great move on his part because of the fact that, hey, he knows that next year a new cycle is going to open up, and you very easily could have
A lot better jobs.
tons of jobs. Like McDermott fails in Buffalo, if Eberflus fails in Chicago, if Mike McCarthy fails again in Dallas, like you could have those 3 jobs open up. Those are just 3 great jobs because you have Josh Allen, you'll have Caleb Williams, and all these guys that have all the confidence in the world that they can fix Dak Prescott. To be determined.
Sure, but there's no shortage of weapons, and then you can maybe toss LaFleur in there.
Yeah, cram it in your clam hole, LaFleur.
But also McVay.
Philly too.
Yeah, Sirianni, but also McVay has hinted at, even though he's dumb young, about stepping away.
Yeah, he's got nothing else to prove.
You know what I mean? Like, so the cycle that could open up.
Well, hell, Andy Reid too. There's reports that
He
Andy
may be
Reid could
done.
be in his final
If
year.
you're Ben Johnson.
What if Ben Johnson's sitting there like, I
Pat
know,
Mahomes.
the Walrus called me and said, "You're next."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
Take
the
that.
movie called The Walrus or no Tusk?
No,
Okay,
can't say I have.
I
Can't say I've ever heard of it.
I had not either.
Okay.
This is a total tangent. Somebody pointed this out to me on Twitter when I was very sick, and they made a joke about something. I think I made an Andy Reid joke. And this is going to throw you sideways.
Okay.
It was kind of an independent film with Justin Long,
Okay. Yep. I know him.
and somehow he
Dodgeball.
Yeah, all kinds of things. Waiting, all kinds of fun, dumb movies. But he basically, I think, gets kidnapped by this guy who had a relationship with like a wild walrus that he developed, and the walrus died, and he ends up like surgically implanting and breaking him down mentally and turning him into a walrus.
What the hell?
Oh, brother,
corner of the internet are you watching
this
these
was
movies on?
I didn't watch it. Somebody explained it to me and then sent me the link, and I read the
Kevin
synopsis.
Smith movie too.
I think it was, yes. And it was like, but you like when I saw like the stills of it and the breakdown of it, I was aghast. I mean, it was Human Centipede-esque in the sense of like, oh no, I think
I'm good.
This is super disturbing.
Yeah, that description. I'm good. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was but you said the walrus, and that just like triggered me all of a sudden because I can't unsee that image now.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't Andy read this anymore. I see a very haunted Justin Long mutated walrus. With that, we're up at today's show here. Maybe you're on Danny Dusty, Danny the Fan.
happy 73rd birthday to one Philip David Charles Collins.
The GOAT.
Also known as Phil Collins, drummer vocalist for Genesis. We have another big birthday today, too. Happy 94th to Eugene Allen Hackman. Also known
Gene
as
Hackman.
Gene Hackman, yes. Owner of 2 Oscars and 4 Golden Globes.
And alive.
Did you see his
And alive.
his last credit? Do you know what it is?
Welcome to Mooseport.
It's actually later than that.
Is it?
It was as a guest in a restaurant on
Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives?
Yes.
I just saw that the other day.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you might know him from The French Connection, Lex Luthor in Superman, Hoosiers, Unforgiven, The Firm, Enemy of the State, The Birdcage, Crimson Tide.
Look at him.
Crimson Tide's a great one.
Gene Hackman.
I love the run of submarine movies.
Also, The Replacements.
he was great in it.
Yeah. He was a great coach. Good ball coach.
Good. Basketball and football, turns out.
Hey, he can do it all. He's a Renaissance man.
Shane
He's like one of those coaches in the 20s
Yeah.
where they would be like the
What was
head,
the coach for the Ducks?
crap.
He coached like 6 different things.
Yeah, but he was at like Oregon and like Penn State.
Yeah,
and, like, he was,
multiple schools and then like professionally.
Yeah. He was.
That was a
that's-
Renaissance man.
That's what they used to do. Like that's how it used to be back in the day. Back in the day now. I'm trying to see who it was. I don't know.
While you
It'll
look
come
that
to
up,
me.
I got
I'm looking at it up.
I got a special question that has been asked ahead of tomorrow night's game. Mark Mason, the PA voice of the Portland Trailblazers, has solicited on Twitter. The time is at hand. How do I intro Damian Lillard's homecoming Wednesday night?
Oh, letter O.
Special treatment or like any other visitor?
Nope, special treatment. He
So
deserves it.
I've retweeted it on Twitter if you want to check it out.
Hugo Besdick.
That is a great name.
He was the football coach at Oregon in 1906.